have an extra special guest tonight.
Oh, goodness.
Sergeant.
I'm not wearing the right shirt. What?
Oh, Sergeant Storey. I was trying to introduce you as Sergeant Storey with the haircut. You want take a little 2 seconds. I'm gonna change it. No one wants to see this.
I'll be right
already
back.
showed his boobies. Here we go.
Excuse me, sir. This is private property. What are you doing?
Just taking it all in.
You're staring at my daughter's bedroom.
She's really grown into her body. This is going to be a fun summer for her.
Staring into Storey's bedroom. Okay. Sergeant Storey with the haircut, man. You're looking fly.
Thank you.
Looks
Thank
good.
You. Good. Yeah. I hate getting a haircut because I hate making small talk, but you got to do it.
Get yourself a barber that you know, and then it's an enjoyable experience. My barber, he always has beers for me. We hang out. I usually come home hammered, and it's like 2 PM.
Beers?
Yeah.
You get beer. So the
tequila, beers, yeah, he's got it all.
I'm not going to name the name, but the barber that my dad went to, so that I went to when I was a kid, he used to sell. Remember when they had pornography in VHSs?
Yes,
he would sell pornography. So I caught him on the phone once. He's like, "No, I don't have that," but he's like, "But I got Big Asses 3 or something like that." I'm like, "Okay."
That's actually how me and my good buddy Bob Kreider met. I told the story before. At 8th grade, we took a baseball camp at Aurora University, and it was 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. And I had a porn hookup for DVDs, and it was $5 for a 6-hour DVD. And I had like 20 of them, dude. I was buying them. My brother would hook me up. I was selling them to people, you know. I was 8th grade, you know. I was making a fucking bone. I was selling $20 a pop.
Are these
at the liquor store? There was a liquor store in South Elgin there, right by Thornwood Liquors.
Awesome. So these weren't like cheap Chinese knockoffs or whatever?
No, they were legit. I think I still have a couple of them. I'll hook you up. Dakota says, I'd rather draft Pearsall than Fat Kelsey in 2026. He looked a little chubby, and I'm not one to talk. These guys are elite athletes, but he's chubby. He just got married. That happens. He's going to let himself go now.
Yeah.
Are you worried about Kelsey this year, like for that reason, or just any other reason?
I didn't see the picture. What's he look like? I'm not worried about it. It doesn't really bother me. He'll get in football shape. That's what training camp is for. That's also why I get worried about guys that hold out or have injuries in training camp. Their body, like the way that they limit practices nowadays, you need basically the entirety of training camp to get NFL ready. You can't be getting up to speed. That makes me worried about guys that start on the pup. Makes me worried about Tucker Kraft. Makes me worried about Malik Neighbors, even though he's not on the pup. He's limited as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I didn't see the picture. I don't know what he looks like.
He looks like me. So just picture me right now. Here I am. This is Travis Kelsey. So I'm a great athlete. Kappa in here. What's up, man? Hot takes. I got the old clip I'm going to queue up later. And then Dakota also says top of the evening to you, gents. And salute Storey for being a sergeant today. He's a sergeant for the next probably 2 weeks till it grows out. I'm just giving you shit. I always got to fuck with your hair, man.
Enlisted man. This is not an officer's haircut. This is an enlisted man's haircut. Maybe an
private story. All right, here we go. All right, we got a lot of stuff to get into, and we have our hot takes. So this is going to be pass catchers, wide receivers, and tight ends. I told Storey to get spicy, so we'll see how they come out. But let's get to some. I hope so. Let's get to some news first. Actually, no, let's stat of the day. Let's get stat of the day.
Well, I could put the trash into a landfill where it's going to stay for millions of years. Or I could burn it up and get a nice smoky smell in here and let that smoke go into the sky where it turns into stars.
That doesn't sound right, but I don't know enough about stars to dispute it.
No, it's right. It's not right. All right. We almost...
All right, so this isn't really a stat, but I think it's a stat. So this is the Lions' schedule this year. And they don't have, I was looking into the Lions, you know, I've been drafting a lot of them in best ball, and their defense is trash. Again, awesome offense every year. Everyone's healthy as of now. And they don't have an outdoor weather game, by my calculation, until week 17 at Chicago. Like a possibility, right? If you look at the schedule, obviously they play in a dome. You have the Vikings playing in a dome. The only games like on the road, Bills early in the season. We have Dolphins. That's never a weather game. Falcons is inside, and the Vikings are inside. So all these games are in a dome or in warm weather. I know Jared Goff's kind of got past that a little bit, but I'm not worried. Like, this is awesome. This is a fucking boom for this offense.
Well, this schedule in general is I think it's the 4th easiest schedule in the NFL, and you've got a team that's bringing back. I mean, the offensive line will take a step back, but you got a team that's bringing back the vast majority of the offense. Should be another easily top 10 offense, maybe a top 5 offense. They're in good shape. I'm super bullish on Gibbs. I mean, Gibbs could have 350 touches this year. He could go to the moon. Jared Goff is a nice late round pick, right? I still kind of prefer Brock Purdy, but Jared Goff is in that range as well. I don't know what else to say. Like, yeah, okay, so Chicago in November, maybe, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. I'm saying, no, the Bears in November. That's at home. That's at home. So I'm saying the only game. So we all love the schedule already on the surface in terms of strength of schedule, all those things. But you look deeper into it. Another plus is that the only weather game, potential like cold and precipitation and that kind of shit, is the Bears January 3rd, which is the fantasy championship. But you know what? That's one game, and Jared Goff has kind of knocked that, that saying that people had that he couldn't play outside or play in elements. But he's not going to have to this year is the point. So even if you have that worry with Jared Goff for like, oh, do I have to get a second quarterback because he's going to play in this game in 30-degree weather? He's not Tua for one. Remember the stretch Tua had where the playoff game he had against the Chiefs when Andy Reid had the frozen snot on his face? Like Tua cannot play in cold because his arm isn't strong enough. But this is just money for Jared Goff and money for this Lions offense as a whole. You mix that with bad defense, elite playmakers. This is a recipe for a top 3 offense this year. I feel like that's not even a hot take, right? That's probably possible. It's probable top 5.
I mean, I think it's very conservatively top 10, could be top 5, top 3. It's within the range of possibilities. It's a outcome that I mean, Bills, Ravens, I don't know who I guess people think Bears are going to take the next leap.
Rams,
maybe.
But the Rams defense is really good. Right. Rams have a really good defense now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Rams are projected to score the most points in the league, believe it or not.
Well, not with your hot take of Matt Stafford being a big bust this year.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying what they're projected for. That's what the sportsbooks say they're going to score. You know what? It could all go screaming back to Kyron Williams, and then Blake Corum could be on the sideline holding his helmet in his hands.
Jesus, Blake Corum to the moon. All right, let's get to some news. We have a lot of news to get to. There's a lot of stuff that happened since the last time me and you chatted, buddy.
Guys, I've got news. I've got terrible news.
Oh, so this is exactly what I wanted a vacation from.
There are 2 guys in this church that are gay.
Who's the other guy?
I don't get the joke.
Yeah, he's never gonna understand. What's wrong with that?
Before we get to the news, Cap has a comment here. Chances Vikes win the division. What do you think? They're projected last place. I mean, for obvious reasons. You have the Bears. The Bears are projected 3rd place, and we all love the Bears.
Quarterback play, 10% chance. I don't think it's very high. Kyler looks underwhelming from what I'm reading in camp reports, and McCarthy's not him. So they got an aging veteran running back and a guy who is not all that dynamic in Mason. They got one of the best wide receivers in the league, but a head coach and a wide receiver can only take you so far.
Great defense, though. Not just in terms of talent, but great defensive scheme. You got that going for you. It sucks they're in this division, right? If they were in the NFC South, we'd be like, this team is a favorite almost, right? They're a top 2 team in the NFC South.
Yeah, I mean, but they're not in the NFC South. So,
you think is it more likely they get 2nd place or 4th place this year?
More likely they get 4th place.
I think it's more likely they get 3rd place.
Well, you didn't give me that option.
I didn't have to. You know what? As a host, I can do what I want, Storey. I can make my own rules here. That's what I love about this show is that it's just my show. I just cultivate all the random shit, and I set you up for failure. And you know what? You're such a smart guy that you never fail because you're a genius.
It's true.
And you're also a private in the Army, so we're good. All right, let's get to some news. We have a lot of stuff to get to. Malik Neighbors, man. This is just getting cleaner and cleaner and better, and we were all wrong, even though I was saying that I thought this was a lot of smoke. I felt like there was a good chance he was ready for week 1. Now, what does that mean in terms of his snap share? What percentage of, his true form is he going to be? But this is encouraging. How are you going to attack this? If it's full go, not so much preseason, but all the reports are great for Neighbors, and you're getting into your draft. You have a draft August 21st, say. And it's like he's projected to play week 1. No limitations. That's what they use. They use that word, even though we know it's not going to be full 90% snaps. But where are you drafting him? Where are you drafting him at PPR? Is it 3rd round?
He's going to creep into the 3rd round very quickly. Here's the problem. There's still no timetable for his return. So even though he said he's been running routes for weeks, for whatever that's worth, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 8 weeks, I don't know. He's participating in individual drills. So he's not in team activities. He's participating in individual drills. again, he's been running around for weeks, so there's a chance he's ready against the Cowboys in week 1. I'm thinking it's less likely that he starts the season on the PUP, but I still think he's missing a week or 2. So I'd be pretty cautious drafting. I think you can justify that in the 3rd round, but if he creeps up he's easily a top 12 receiver if he's fully healthy, and that would justify a 2nd round draft price. But missing those first 2 games could be pretty tough on your fantasy team.
Well, hold on, top 12, dude. If he's healthy, he's probably a top 7 receiver. Yeah, he's there with Jefferson and Lamb, honestly, just based on target share,
talent. I'm
talent.
trying to be conservative because he hasn't played with Jackson Dart yet. So
right.
We don't know what the chemistry is actually.
So let me give you some names and let's just kind of go through this. So
she named names.
Yeah, she named names. You give me blacklisted Hop Sings. Garrett Wilson. Well, let's start there because Garrett Wilson's target share is not in question. He's had some nicks and bruises here the last couple of years, but relatively available for the most part. But Geno Smith, Jets, all that kind of shit. He's going at the end of the 3rd round. Would you just say, fuck it, I'm going to take the safe guy, or you want to shoot for the moon in the 3rd round? This is not the 2nd round. It's not the 1st round. Is it Garrett Wilson or is it Neighbors? The reports are, again, we're not going to know. If you're drafting 2 weeks before the season, there's still going to be some uncertainty.
Yeah.
So I guess it's what is your risk profile for these type of picks?
I think I'm pretty comfortable taking a shot based on these reports. I think I'm pretty comfortable taking a shot on Neighbors at this point. If you had asked me 3 days ago, I would have said Garrett Wilson for sure. But at some point, we have to admit that maybe Garrett Wilson isn't the alpha that we hope, expect, want him to be. It's been many years in the league. He's had several different quarterbacks. Neighbors has done it with bad quarterback play. So I think I can withstand a couple of – because you're not taking a 0 in that position. So I think I can withstand a couple of weeks with a streaming wide receiving play. And then you got a top 8 wide receiver the rest of the season, assuming health. There is the risk of re-injury, though. That is a possibility.
Yeah, that is a Seinfeld reference. Shout out to Sheevadelphia. How you doing, man? That's Hop Sings. You got me blacklisted. I just love that.
Kramer, I got some literature in my car that'll change your mind.
Does he dress in drab clothing? Let me give you a couple other names. Zay Flowers. That's a little higher up, and we love Zay Flowers. So would you just go with the number 1 tied to Lamar Jackson with no questions? Never misses games. He's going middle of 3rd, right? Pick 30-ish.
Again, I don't know that Zay Flowers is going to be used in the red zone. He's a very nice floor play. We do like that about Zay Flowers, but if these reports, if Neighbors sticks in this price range and these reports are positive, I'd go Neighbors. Take the shot.
T. Higgins.
Neighbors.
All right, you're a Neighbors guy. You're all in on Neighbors.
Yeah, Higgins is a 2 as long as Chase is there. Like, he'll have big gains, but he'll also do disappearing acts.
Okay, last one. Devonta Smith.
I think I'm going to go Devonta Smith there.
Chris Olave.
Oh, man. He just signed a 4-year extension. He got fully cleared from the blood clot thing. Man, I'm
trying to find your line, right?
Yeah.
And right now, Devonta Smith is pick 27, so he's the 3rd pick. JSN range from last year. Chris Olave is a little after that. He's right between Zay Flowers. I'm talking about just typical ADP underdog, what I see on Fantasy Pros. So that's your line, essentially early to mid 3rd round.
Yeah. Yeah, it might depend on my team build, right? If I take Lamb feels a little risky to me with George Pickens there, with the reduction in efficiency last year, the low touchdown number. So it's an upside. I think that's more of an upside play than a floor play. So maybe I'm not as comfortable with Neighbors there. Maybe that's a Zay Flowers, a T. Higgins, a Chris Olave, as opposed to if I get a Jamar Chase, a JSN, a Puka, even a what's his name, a Drake London. Then I'm probably safe guys. Then I'm probably okay with the Neighbors pick.
I'm in line. I'm a little lower than you, just based on I loving the guys that I was mentioning. But let's move on to the next guy here, the next news item. Deebo Samuel signed. We're gonna kind of parallel this into the Ricky Pearsall thing, which we still don't have news about. We were talking about this a lot yesterday. Shout out to Mouth and Keith for coming on. Great show, man. Appreciate you guys helping fill the content with me. Let's start here. Ricky Pearsall, PCL, is he out for the year? I know if he has to have surgery, he is out for the year. That's a fact. Right. If they opt for surgery, give me the chances that you think, and this is all speculation, but we have some reports. We know what the injury is. I wish we had Ray on here. He's a doctor, but we don't have him on here. What is the percentage we see Ricky Pearsall on the field this year?
I don't know, man. This is the same PCL injury that he bothered him for a good chunk of last year. He was, as far as we knew, he was recovering this offseason, but him getting fully healthy might not be in the cards this year. Like the reports that I've read are some down to earth San Fran guys that are not prone to hyperbole. So this item is one to watch. I think there's a strong chance that they just shut him down. I mean, the fact that they signed Deebo Samuel pretty much indicates to me that it's pretty quickly here they're going to shut him down for the year. Say, all right, we invested in you. Get healthy, come back, and be the guy. Because it's a 1-year deal for Deebo Samuel.
Right. I think the Deebo thing is the point, right? And I don't think they were bringing in Deebo if there was no Pearsall concern. And they would have brought him in a month ago? You know what I mean? And maybe it's because Deebo settled for less money. Who knows? But it appears that this is a 1-to-1 correlation. Injury to Ricky Pearsall. Here comes Deebo. They're not quite the same players anymore. That's why I thought Diggs would be a better, replacement for Pearsall. But Deebo is familiar with this offense. They know how to use them. In terms of Deebo's outlook, I mean, this is more of a best ball thing, but in deep leagues, I drafted him at 154. He was going like 168 to 170 when he was unsigned. I took him at 154 in a couple slow drafts right after it happened. Is that fair for you? Like 14th round, like in a best ball, especially?
I don't know. I don't think so. Deebo looked pretty washed last year, man. Like on a team devoid of pass catching talent, with McLaurin spending the vast majority of the season on the sideline, I'm surprised that Deebo could not take advantage of it. So that seems a little pricey for a guy that could realistically be a zero, right? He'll get a few catches, but is he going to crack your lineup unless he catches touchdowns? And I don't think he can break tackles and yards after the catch like he used to. So I'm not in. I got to be out.
It's a good point. We shouldn't be talking about Deebo, but it does affect other people. So let's spin it on. Let's spin it to Mike Evans.
Okay.
Because
real quick, I am going to go ahead and pencil in Stephon Diggs to Washington now.
Yeah.
Seems like a likely landing spot.
The first domino fell, the money. Now Diggs will probably be fine with like $11 million a year, $12 million a year, based on the money that Deebo got. But so let's go on the framework that Pearsall's out for the year, because I think that's probably more likely than not. And they are pretty much signed Deebo to take some of those snaps, and they're going to have Stribling have a bigger role. But if it's Deebo taking the Pearsall snaps, like this is a boom for Mike Evans, right? Based on where he was going with Pearsall, assuming Pearsall's healthy and he's the 2 there compared to Deebo. And yes, if Stribling makes an impact, Stribling's still a rookie. And it's like Pearsall was, a younger player, but former first rounder, flashed on film a bunch. This is a good thing for Mike Evans, right? So if you had Mike Evans in Dynasty, for instance, which he was just traded in our league, which is kind of an inside joke, but we were trying to get him. This is good for Mike Evans. Would you raise Mike Evans' ADP and where you had him in your ranks a little bit based on the news that Ricky Pearsall's gone?
Maybe.
Think about it. Pearsall's gone. Kittle's coming back slow.
Half a round. I honestly think this opens the door for Stribling more so than anything else. Evans is going to have his role here. He was always going to be the red zone guy. He was always going to be a downfield play kind of guy. But I think the Stribling and Deebo aren't a 1-for-1 comparison, but Stribling is a monster blocker. This is going to give him an opportunity to get on the field. I think Deebo is going to play a very specific role for this team, probably a lot of third down stuff. I see him as like a 60% snap share player, Deebo.
Yeah, some backfield stuff mixed in, some design touches. So when he is in the field, they will try to get him the ball, but it's not overlapping with Stribling or Mike Evans' skill set and role. All right, that's a good conversation. Appreciate that. I wanted to get your take on the Ricky Pearsall thing. We still don't know about Pearsall, guys, so we'll probably find out in the coming days. I'll make a decision. I got 2 more news items to get to. Guys, we'll get to every comment here in a second after we finish up. We have two more important news items. This is an interesting one here. Walter Nolan. This is a defensive player, a guy I love, the defensive tackle. But this could be bad. And he had a torn meniscus last year that ended his season. And now there's another injury. So coming off a meniscus injury, like this legitimately could tank his career.
He had a meniscus issue, which totally tanked Derrick Rose's career.
The reason I'm bringing this up,
he had a meniscus issue, which totally tanked Derrick Rose's career.
Sorry. I'm doing it to myself now. That was an accident. The reason I'm bringing it up is, the Brissett thing, and everyone's like, he's not going to throw as many passes. They're going to be more run heavy. Dude, if Walter Nolan's out for the year for some reason, like this defense is poo. It already was poo. It's going to be poopier. And Brissett to the moon, Marvin Harrison, Michael Wilson, whoever you prefer in this offense, they're going to have to just be airing it out and playing from behind even more than they already were going to be. Like, I like this. I know you don't seem to care.
No, I don't seem to care. Nolan played 6 games last year. Don't get me wrong. He was a monster when he was on the field. 15% pressure rate, I think, which is just incredible for a rookie. But they played without him for more than half of the season last year. And they were terrible. They cannot operate as an offense as they operated last year. It just won't happen. They're going to slow the game down. They're going to grind it out. But the passing game will not be as voluptuous. It's big breasted. It physically cannot happen. Like, you can't throw the ball 45 times a game. Like, you just can't do it.
They might have to. I'm just saying. Like, Walter Nolan is probably a top, besides Budda Baker, is the second best player and a guy that could ascend to becoming I'm sorry, I don't want to throw the word out, Aaron Donald level player. This dude is a physical freak that controls the run game and helps in the pass, and as a pass rusher, as a D tackle. And missing this guy, this is a big dude. This defense is gonna be so bad, and it's what we want for fantasy, dude.
Again, I don't really care that much. I mean, I care for him. Like, I think they rushed him back a little bit, right? He never really. I don't think he really returned to form this offseason. And we don't really know the severity of the injury, but I think it's going to be. It doesn't look. The outlook's not good either way. I think the reason they're keeping 4 running backs on this roster is they're just going to run the heck out of the ball. Like, what's in between losing by 17 and losing by 27? This organization, it doesn't make a difference.
We can agree to disagree. This one ties into that. So this is Tyler Algier. This is a Jeremiah Love blurb, if you ask me, because apparently Tyler Algier is getting the majority of the first team reps, which I love because I want to draft Jeremiah Love this year. And if people are going to be dumb enough to read into this, and you see that Jadarian Price is getting a lot of first team reps, like first couple days, people are going to be like adjusting their rankings from this. And this is insane. Like, Jeremiah Love's a starting running back there. And maybe week 1, it's a 50-50 split, but it won't be for long. Give me Jeremiah Love in the 3rd round all fucking day, man.
Are you saying
you agree with this?
Don't trust your eyes because both Jadarian Price and Tyler Algier are getting first team. Are you saying that the guys who are getting first team, it's all a smokescreen, that these guys are not the first guys up? I'm asking.
The Price thing I can get. Like, he might be the first guy. Like, there's just no way they're going to start Algier this year. Like, why?
So why is
they were just talking up James Conner 3 days ago. So, like, dude, I don't know what they're doing. The bottom line is,
why are they not giving Love all the reps then?
I don't know. I don't care. I don't care, frankly, because all the Marion Hampton bros. This is their argument. He was a first round pick. They're not going to not use him. Well, Love is a 3rd overall pick, and they're definitely not going to, like, a 3rd overall pick is different than the 25th pick in the draft, dude. Like, this dude has to be on the field. Jeremiah Love will be on the field as much as he can handle by the end of the season, by midseason.
I'm just playing devil's advocate. I fully agree with you. Jeremiah Love is the guy there. The reason that Algier is getting first team reps is because they don't need Love to get up to speed, right? Maybe they're showcasing Algier for a potential trade. It'd be weird to sign him in the offseason and trade him. I don't know if he's got a no trade clause, but they're talking about Connor. He's probably out the door. One of these guys is a practice squad guy or getting traded along those lines. You just don't need to expose Love to that in the offseason. He is as pro ready as any running back we've seen in the last 10 years. On the flip side, maybe the Seahawks think that Price needs those first team reps to get up to speed.
Correct. Yes. But so you're not worried at all. I'm not worried at all. My worry meter is like a 2. It's a 2. It's not a 1. It's like a 2.
The other thing is, like, okay, so people are going to say, well, look at we got burned by Ash and Genty last year in a very similar situation. And I would argue that they're not similar situations whatsoever, because where Genty was being drafted is 2 rounds before Love is being drafted. So very similar offenses and high drafted guys, but where Love is being drafted in fantasy football, you could build around that if he becomes what Genty was last year, as opposed to what we think Genty's going to be this year.
Is this Nico? Nico, love y'all. Gonna show you my O face. Oh. Know what I'm talking about? I'm guessing this has to be Nico or a Nico fan. Maybe Nico as a stalker. Maybe it's his long-lost twin brother. But we know exactly what you're talking about. And, yes, show your O face. I want to show you my O face. Odds that this is Nico? Is this 99%?
99%, yeah.
99%. Okay, I'll get on board with that. I think so. Where's my O face clip? I need to find this.
It's good radio.
Got it. Oh.
Things go well, I might be showing her my O face. Oh. You know what I'm talking about. Oh.
So, last thought. You were talking about Ashton Genty. Ashton Genty was only disappointing because he was getting drafted at the 1-2 turn.
Exactly.
You would not have been disappointed if he was drafted at the 2-3 turn last year. So, it is Nick O. It's confirmed. What's up, man? I just texted you. I don't know if you texted me back, but we need to try to get together, all three of us, do some upside floor. That was actually Nico's very first segment on the show back at Kappa's basement. But we want these reports. Just to finish off the Jeremiah Love conversation, we want more of these reports because we're not worried. If I can get Jeremiah Love at pick 30, like maybe he sucks. Maybe he only gets 12 touches a game the first 5 weeks, and he's like RB 17, right? RB 18. But if you're drafting him at RB 14, that's not even that bad. And then you're going to just dominate, right? You're just going to dominate the rest of the season because he's that level of talent. He's in an offense that, is going to throw the ball, and he's a pass catcher. He has it all. Goal line, pass catching, like 70-yard breakaway speed. Like we love Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, I don't think that this report matters because by the time home league drafts start, he's going to get steamed up. This is what happens with highly drafted rookies, regardless.
Let me get to this. I got to defer this question to Storey. So McAuliffe, shout out McAuliffe, newest guy in the community. If you're projected 31st in the league, why would you bulldoze Love in a meaningless year? New coach, first-year coach, right? LaFleur, like, I don't think they're going to bulldoze him, but like 17 touches a game is totally fair, right?
Yes. I mean, I think he could realistically get to an average of 18 to 20 touches per game. The reason is, new head coach. He's pretty secure for at least the first couple of years, but he comes from systems that rely heavily on the running back. And what's realistically the difference? You're losing games anyway. You might as well hand it to a guy that is going to take care of the football. And at the very least, you drafted him highly, and if you don't use him, the people in Arizona are not going to be happy with you. So there's a lot of reasons. Is it logical? Probably not, but coaches and managers and owners do all sorts of illogical things. So for us to get in the mind of a Mike LaFleur and figure out why would they bulldoze him, I mean, they drafted him highly. They're not going to not use him.
Yeah, fans will be clamoring for it as well. They want to see excitement, and they will see excitement. Let's, by the way, I started the show with a poll. There is a poll going right now. When you're joining the show, answer the question. So let's not answer now. Let's wait for the poll to finish. We'll talk about it. I said, highest upside running back here without an injury. So this is without the other guy in the backfield getting hurt. Judkins, Hendy, Bucky, and Tootin without an injury, right? And I know like Henderson could take the job over that. That's within realm of this question, but who has the highest upside if everything breaks right for this without Stevenson going down or Chris Rodriguez being hurt? Those are the four guys. So we'll talk about that at the end of the show once all the votes are in. Get your vote in, guys. Get your vote in. And let's get to some comments here before we get to our list, our hot take list. Super excited to see stories. I actually know yours, but I want to hear your explanation for them. You don't know mine, though, which I'm very happy about. Shivadelphia, Lions, Bears, Pack, Vikes is how they finish, in my opinion. Is that your take as well?
Lions, Pack, Bears, Vikings.
Bears fan picking the Bears third, huh?
It's a tough schedule, my man. It is a tough schedule, and we're expecting this offense to take the next step to become more efficient. But what happens if they don't? What happens if Caleb Williams maintains what he was last year? 65% completion rate is going to be difficult to do in the NFC North.
Max says, how credible you think it is that they're talking about potentially trading Bijan instead of paying him? That would be insane, right?
I saw this guy. I saw him. They pay this guy to talk. Do you think he's writing these hot takes, or do you think that he's coming up with them on the fly, or has he got a team? Absolutely ridiculous. Who lets this garbage on air? I don't understand it.
We have Derek. What's up, man? Derek, I was calling Derek when he came on the show. They're all OGs. We got to get a name for Derek and Mouth and Dakota and some of these guys. They're more than OGs. There's something else. We got to figure out something, like a different term for them. Something great.
Something.
Let's see. McAuliffe, Kafka is a friend of my dad's work buddy. This is a best friend's neighbor's cousin thing. Interim head coach for the Giants last year. Told my dad that the injury would keep him out the entire first half of the season. Even the coaches aren't sure. Well, it seems really good now. I mean, I'm not going to overreact. I didn't overreact to what I was hearing in May, and I'm not overreacting this now. I'm kind of stuck with what I said. I think he misses a couple games. This is what I said in May and in June. And I think he's ready week 3, and then you'll probably really trust him, and he'll be 90% of his former self week 5 and on. So I think that makes a lot of sense. But that's some insider source from 3 people to him.
Where's Mike Kafka now? I don't even know.
I don't know. Selling insurance? Who knows?
My uncle's wife's maiden name is Kafka.
Oh.
Not related.
Sounds like Tucker Kraft, who's a god. Does a healthy neighbor open up the field more and help Darnell Mooney in the slot to have a bigger season than expected? Do we know Mooney's going to play the slot? I mean, he should play the slot, but who knows with that offense, dude? I will say this. I like Mooney without Neighbors because the target share will be higher. The efficiency will be better with Mooney with Neighbors in the field. But if we're talking about starting Mooney or for best ball purposes, like we want more weeks without Neighbors on the field if you have Darnell Mooney because he is the de facto one there.
Yeah, but I'm not so sure it's Mooney. And Slayton is pretty well liked by this organization. I think he plays in 2 wide receiver sets without Neighbors.
Think so?
Yeah.
Nick says Debo signing equals this is from a Niners guy. Debo signing equals Pearsall IR. We were saying more Pearsall dead, like out for the year, you know?
Yeah. What do you mean by that, Nick? Because as of right now, there is no IR. There's PUP, but
yeah. He knows that's what he means. He's just out for 5 or 6 weeks. I got a chug for Nick O for that $20 banger. Thanks, buddy. You didn't have to do that. Silent says Judkins highest ceiling. What? Apparently Judkins is winning the poll. People are listening to the show because we're really high on Judkins this year. I am. Debo looked heavy and slow last year. Yes, he was.
Yes, he was.
Shiva, if Stribling has a strong year, Pearsall becomes a wide receiver 3 and may never be fantasy relevant. Totally true. I mean, you get Wally pipped, man. You get Wally pipped and it just happens.
With Pearsall anyway.
Debo was 72 receptions, 700 yards, 5 touchdowns. That's what I think is what he's projecting. What do you think about that? I'm going to chug this.
That's pretty close to what he did last year, right? Like he had 100 targets last year or so. McLaurin wasn't on the field for 10 games last year, and he couldn't crack 100 targets in that offense. I know the offense in general struggled, but who else was catching passes there? Luke McCaffrey, right? Like
the offense fell apart though, and he fell apart physically. That was, he started off really well. Debo was a must start the first 5 weeks of the season,
and he's not a downfield guy anymore. 10.5 yards per target or whatever. Like just short stuff. I bet it's a lot of bubble screens and a lot of mesh routes and slants and crossers and stuff like that. That's not gonna work in San Francisco.
Sheba says, I think Debo hits 55 receptions, 600 yards, 4 touchdowns. That is borderline relevant. I mean, it's definitely great for best ball. It's a wide receiver 4 is what that is.
Yeah.
Which is fine, right? Bye-week fill-in.
Bye-week fill-in, injury, emergency injury replacement, etc. Yeah, maybe.
You know what the upside of Debo is, though, Storey? It's not just the Mike Evans injury. Like, that would help him. But if Christian McCaffrey gets hurt, Kyle Shanahan's going to give him 5-6 touches out of the backfield. Like, at this stage of his career, like, we're putting you back there, Debo. Shut up and carry the ball. And how effective he would be in that role, it wouldn't be like it was 4 years ago. But Debo is still equipped to handle those touches, and he still has some juice in that regard.
You know who else is going to get Wally pipped is Jordan James. He had the inside track on the backup job, and that broken rib is going to open the door for Kalen Black to be the successor to Christian McCaffrey.
The Niners just can't. I mean, their coach is hurt. They just can't catch breaks, man. It's unreal.
Who was the team before the Niners? It was the Chargers, right? The Chargers were always banged up. Now it's the Niners. The Niners, man, they are the most injury-plagued team I can remember.
Year in, year out. Shiva, we got to get you in the community, my dude. Ask the chat how to sign up. Get in there, man. We love you. Your great comments. He's literally the most respectful and nicest Philadelphia Eagle fan we've ever seen of all time.
A respectful Philadelphia Eagles fan is an oxymoron.
Exactly. And this guy is not a moron. Exactly. What are your thoughts on Cyrus Allen? Looks insane in training camp videos. Andy Reid talked him up. Rice and Allen 1-2 punch. I will say another guy that talks him up is Matt Harmon, my guy who I trust, loves Cyrus Allen. He is a smaller, he's like 5'11", 180. This dude is a pit bull, though. Definitely a very competitive player. Kind of has the motor, reminds me of a smaller Michael Wilson. But what do you think about it? I see your face. You don't like Cyrus Allen.
I mean, what, 5th round pick? Was he 4th round pick? No, he was a 5th round.
5th round. Yep.
6. He bounced like after spending 2 or 3 years at Louisiana Tech. He bounced between he had an unremarkable season at Texas A&M and then a fairly okay season at Cincinnati. But there's just not enough in his production profile to make me think that he's a difference maker in this league. I think the guy you want to look at is Tyquan Thornton in this.
Yeah,
if you're looking for a deep sleeper, it's Tyquan Thornton. Yeah, Cyrus Allen.
Here's the upside of Cyrus Allen, though. I'll say this: all of his numbers in college, he's really good against man. There is no man beater on this team. Rashee Rice can't do it. Xavier Worthy can do it, and then he drops the ball. Tyquan Thornton is just literally a deep threat guy at this stage of his career, and Travis Kelce is too slow to beat man coverage. So Kenneth Walker is probably the answer, but no, yeah. Cyrus Allen does something that none of these other guys do on this team. So they need to. They're going to be playing against a lot of man because that's been the secret sauce in slowing down this Chiefs offense. Like zone, Mahomes picks it apart.
Secret sauce is the too high safety look. That's what slowed down this Chiefs offense.
Yeah, but man with too high safety, right? Not just total zone. Mm-hmm. And
most defenses that run too high safety are running split coverage. So 1/2 side man, 1/2 side zone. So still, like, I'm not like a 5th round, a second team, all Big 12, 5th round pick. Just these, like, the odds that he becomes relevant in this league, let alone in fantasy football, are so minuscule. I don't even think it's worth talking about.
A name to keep an eye on, Storey. That's what we do around here. We want to talk some guys up. Let's talk about every player. It's what we've done all offseason. We're still in the offseason.
But like, if there's a guy that has an insane production profile, like a Bryce Lance, and then he's making waves in camp, then sure, talk about him. But Cyrus Allen, come on.
All right, thoughts on Stroud and Cam Ward values relative to low ADPs. Cam Ward has a higher upside just because the defense of the Titans will be better, but not elite. Stroud's upside is just cap based on the fact they have a top 3 defense. It's going to be a top 3 defense.
Where are they going relatively?
Pretty close, man. Stroud's quarterback 24. I think Ward goes a little ahead of him, like quarterback 22.
Yeah, I would still say that Stroud has the better pass game weapons, right? So you got to kind of balance the better defense versus the better passing game weapons. And but they also have probably the better run game with David Montgomery there, splitting time with Woody Marks and the Blue Tent. So it's pretty much a wash. I think, I don't know. Like, I've seen it with Stroud for 2 years now. His rookie season was incredible, and he's going to settle into a pretty mediocre role in terms of like a fantasy output. Cam Ward could take the next level, especially with Carnell Tate.
The call of Bucks, Falcons, Saints, Panthers is the order they predict. I don't see a world where Atlanta finishes better than the Saints. Thoughts? Everyone loves the Saints. They're darlings right now. I think the Falcons have the most talented roster in this division. Would you agree with that? We saw it last year at the end of the season. Like, this team is stacked. It's just not the quarterback. The quarterback spot's not.
Like,
I know.
Penix is 4 weeks away. Tua's hurt. They're bringing in Cooper Rush and some dude I've never heard of before. This team could be screwed out of it. We're always talking about the Browns and the Ravens, not the Ravens, the Dolphins and the Cardinals. We should be talking about Atlanta here. Like, what does it mean for Drake London and Bijan Robinson if they're starting Cooper Rush week 1?
They're not starting Cooper Rush. This is a precautionary thing with Tua, but the Penix stuff is real. And this is why they were always going to start Tua to start the year, just based on they want Penix to, this is almost his last chance, at least for Atlanta. They want to play him fully healthy. And if he's rushed back, he already has a lot of issues, seeing the field and accuracy and short yardage stuff. They need him to be healthy, so at least he can use his legs a little bit, move around in the pocket, and give him a real shot this year. And Tua is a fine bridge quarterback for this season. There's a chance Tua plays well in this system. There really is. Stefanski can make this work.
There's also a chance that he's eating his meals through a straw by the end of the year. Like,
yeah,
it sounds harsh, but there's an increased injury risk with him when it comes to brain injuries.
Shiva, running backs get thin as best ball drafts go. Should I take backs that may not produce much, or am I better off handcuffing my top 2 backs towards the end of the drafts? If it's a tournament, Shiva, never handcuff your running backs, because you're capping your upside there. And like if you take Saquon and you take Bigsby and you're in a tournament and Saquon goes down, you're not winning that tournament with Bigsby. You're downgrading. So I want to take Bigsby when I don't have, and this goes for redraft as well. If I don't have Saquon, I want Bigsby. If I'm taking handcuffs, like I want usable guys like Dylan Sampson's a good option. Kenneth Gainwell, it goes a little earlier. Guys, Tajay Spears, that are going to be on the field and could have those big games. We don't want to start them in redraft because you don't know when they're going to have that 40-yard touchdown reception. In best ball, it doesn't matter. They're your RB5 for a reason. Don't handcuff your own running backs in a tournament. In a sit and go, in a one league situation in best ball, yeah, I'm fine with taking 1 or 2 of your handcuffs. Don't handcuff every running back you have, though. Nick is watching Donnie Brasco right now.
Oh, great movie.
Mouth and Dakota. Legacy fans. Okay, legacy fans. That's a good one. We can do that. I want to LF. Kafka is the passing game coordinator for Detroit right now. He's not selling insurance.
Okay, good for him. I don't know what he needs to coordinate. All that runs.
Nick said, "Shut your dirty mouth about the CMC injury."
About the coming CNC injury. If they run him 450 times a game.
When the draft hits, Chuba, Pollard, Warren, Dowdle, Gainwell, Rashad White range, how do I rank them safest and most risky in terms of season-long value? Man, this is a loaded question. I would say safest is Kenneth Gainwell and Rashad White, because Gainwell's going to have his role. They paid him to have his role. Rashad White has a chance to be a starter. Dowdle and Warren are more uncertain, but this is the backfield we want to invest in. Not so much that the offense is great, but like Aaron Rodgers makes his running backs relevant because he throws the ball 1,000,000 times to his running backs. They're going to get targets there. And then Pollard and Chuba are both in similar situations where there's a younger guy, or in this case, Tajay Spears splitting the work there, and then a younger guy behind him. Chuba has Jonathan Brooks breathing down his neck. So that's a tough question, Shiva. We'll talk more in depth. Like I said, Shiva, you got to join. Get in the Discord, man, and we can have these conversations via text, because we can really break these down, because that would take 20 minutes to talk about. You're all good, Philadelphia. Shamrock's in here. Howdy, Helen. What's going on, Shamrock? Shamrock, I sent you an email, man. You got that free month, courtesy of who the hell sent you that? Someone sent you a free month. It was Sean. Sean bought you a free month, so you got to get you in the Discord to redeem that. And there's Helen Hunt for you. What's going on, Shamrock? How you doing? We have a super chat from Derek, and we're going to get to our hot take segment. We're 44 minutes in already. Storey's thoughts on Theo Weiss becoming relevant.
So he went undrafted 2 years ago. He's an old prospect. He's probably 24, 25 now. He spent 4 years, I believe, at Oklahoma, and then 2 years at Missouri, and his hesitate to call it junior year because it was his 5th year in college, but his junior year was fairly productive. And then he had almost 900 yards receiving at Missouri in 2024. But he's never been a touchdown scorer. He's got the body, right? He's got the size, speed, athleticism. But he only played 3 games last year. I don't really think that he'll be relevant in fantasy or in real life. There's just he was one of those great college players that just could not. I don't think he'll be able to make the transition to the pros.
That's fair. Okay, I'm gonna hit you guys with the intro, and then we're gonna be back with our hot takes. 5 hot takes each from me and Storey, wide receivers and tight ends. We also are gonna recap our list last year, at least the guys we hit on, and there's a couple we missed on, but we want to talk about the hits. And 31 seconds, we'll be back with hot takes.
Bravo. Well done.
Yeah, whenever I see Storey laughing, I know I did a good job.
Well,
I did a good job. So
done.
I love it. Shiva says, I'm in a lot of sports talk / discords at the moment. More importantly, I'm looking for a decent full-time role at the moment. What does that mean exactly, Shiva?
Probably looking for a full-time job, maybe.
Oh, yeah, I get you, man. I get you. I will say this though. This is the Discord of Discords. I'm in some other ones as well that have a lot more people than ours, and there's like nothing. The questions are stupid. It's just people are generally stupid, and ours is smart, funny, awesome. But totally good, my dude. Totally good, my dude. Let's get to the list. This is hot takes. So let's recap. Let me see. Do I have it here? Let's recap what we had last year. We had some good ones. I'm going to go with the hits here. So we did 5 each last year for the same segment. Here's the 3 I hit on. Brian Thomas, a wide receiver 3 or worse. So outside the top 24. That's good stuff. That definitely smashed. And it sounds like weird now. That wasn't that hot. He was going like wide receiver 7. So
yeah. I mean, his rookie year was something to behold. So
I had George Pickens as a wide receiver 1, which he was wide receiver 5 overall. Kraft as a top 3 tight end. Those are the 3 I hit on. I don't have the ones I missed on. I think I crashed and burned on those. You hit on 2. DJ Moore, wide receiver 4 or worse. He finished at wide receiver 35 in total points, but in points per game, he was worse. That's a hit because DJ Moore was going like wide receiver 19 last year. And then you also had Pickens as a wide receiver 1 because he was a PP in both of our lists.
Oh, nice.
Dude, I hit on another one too. I didn't write it down. I had Chris Olave with 100+ catches. So essentially saying he'd be a top 12 wide receiver. It was 100+ catches. I was 4 out of 5 last year with these hot takes, and that's some good stuff. So you it too. We were 6 out of 10.
I also had Darnell Mooney will finish the year with more fantasy points than Garrett Wilson. Boo to that. Those are the only 3 wide receiver ones that I had though. So. Interesting.
Yeah, but we had tight ends as well. And a tight ends one, I don't think.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Also, I want to say this. Your last show we did, I told you to add some more spice because they were a little lukewarm.
Yeah.
And I texted you something. And I'm going to put this text up here because it's pretty great. So I said Friday is good, hot takes, good deal. I said Marvin Harrison's out of the NFL next year. That's something you would say. I said JK. You said I'm coming spicy this time. My response to that is I want you to give me diarrhea. And after I sent that, I'm like, that sounds like dirty talk. You know what I mean? Like a weird dirty talk that probably just didn't work well. And I want you to give me diarrhea.
The shit that came out of this woman's mouth, I ain't never heard.
My God. I haven't been fucked like that since grade school.
That's the first thing that came to my mind when I said that to you, because can you give me diarrhea? And if you don't know what that means, spicy food gives you diarrhea at times. So sometimes. I want some spice in my life story.
It's usually more intestinal irritation than it is spicy food, but I see what you're saying.
Okay. You fucking God. Guy's got 4 degrees and you can fucking tell. Health is one of them.
All right.
Here's your first one. Go. You got it. I'm doing the order. So you talk it up and I'm going to
put it on the screen. Put it on the screen. Yes.
There it is.
Emeka Egbuka will outscore JSN. I'm going to ease into this, all right? The last one is going to blow your socks off, I think. So just we're going to ease into it, right? But I am not climbing off of the Egbuka soapbox, and you can't make me, right? I won't do it. I am on Egbuka this year. To be fair, scorching hot first half, and then really fell off second half. But that was Baker. That was injuries. Excuse me. There's a lot of hamstrings and shoulders and ankles and all that kind of stuff. Everything's healed. Even though he was banged up, he had more targets than Evans and Godwin combined last year. Evans is gone, right? We know he's in San Francisco. Egbuka was 3rd in PPR points among wide receivers in the first 5 weeks of the season last year. You don't stumble into that in over 5 weeks, maybe a week or 2, but not over 5 weeks. He's got that kind of upside this year. Seriously, I'm expecting regression for JSN. I don't think that he will have a poor season by any stretch, but I don't believe he's going to be able to repeat the high target share, the efficiency that he had last year. In fact, I think that we've probably seen the best season out of JSN's career. Got a new offensive coordinator there. Clint Kubiak's gone, and Brian Fleury is the new offensive coordinator there. This is an important consideration for Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like, if you want to consider him a league winner, I think these new offensive schemes sometimes takes time to gel. We had the same sentiment about the change from Kellen Moore to Kevin Pachulo in 2025. We know how that turned out. So I'm not saying that's what's going to happen to the Seahawks. I think they're going to be very good this year. I think JSN's going to be very good this year. But I think Egbuka makes that leap into the top 5, and JSN drops down as to a regular wide receiver 1.
Ibuka going wide receiver 16, JSN wide receiver 3. That is fucking hot as shit. Oh, hot, 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 hot. So you essentially are saying Ibuka's a top 5 receiver this year, and JSN's like 7 or 8.
Yeah. I mean,
so it's not as much fading JSN. It's a little fade on JSN, but a major boom for Ibuka.
Well, it's a correction to the mean for the efficiency of that team. They will not be able to be as efficient. The yards per target, the yards per route run, they all have to come. The target share in particular, they all have to come down. The ascension of Rashid Shaheed. Now I know Cooper Kupp is dust, but in general, like this team will not be nearly as efficient. And JSN just operated on sheer efficiency last year. And I think Ibuka's got top 5 upside. I really do.
All right. You ready for my first one?
Yeah, let's hear it.
You're going to love it. TJ Hawkinson, top 5 tight end. What do you got? You got anything to say to that?
No. I mean, I
come on. Give me your normal answer. I know what I want you to say. Say what you're going to say.
I just threw up a little in my mouth. So I'm physically ill even thinking about it, but go ahead.
No, I'm just going to play the clip from last year when you had the same reaction to what my guy. Here it is, guys. You ready for this? This is all documented shit.
Tucker Kraft, top 3 tight end.
Not a shot, no. That is not.
He is George Kittle.
That's not,
before you leave here, let's watch some Tucker Kraft.
We will watch a Tucker
Deal?
Kraft highlight
Deal?
reel. Yeah, yes.
My dick's going to be out.
Okay.
How about if I show you my dick? It's a prank if you don't want to see it, but he shows you anyway. I'm going to get myself hard, and I will show you what I mean.
Okay.
And I'm going to be showing it to you.
It'll be as flaccid.
But you're not going to see it because you're going to be watching Tucker Kraft bowl over dudes.
Well, so your response to that last year was not a chance. And before the injury, Tucker Kraft was tight end 2, and he would have been top 3 for sure. That was a hit, even though he got hurt either way. But you said not a chance. I wanted you to say the same thing with Hawkinson, top 5 tight end, not a chance. But you just said you threw up in your mouth. So that is the same reaction. Top 5 for TJ Hawkinson, tight end 23 right now. That's why that is super goddamn spicy. And I don't have a lot of notes because, I've been talking about Hawkinson every show. And before I even get to that, let's just hang with Hawk for a second. That graphic is my whole argument. I'm just kidding. But last year, tight end 6 was 186 PPR points per game. And it was a down year for tight ends, but it wasn't in that range. It was mostly like Kelsey being tight end 3 was why it was down. The guys in the middle had pretty much average production. This is the numbers he needs to achieve this. By my math from last year, 75 catches, 800 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Seems pretty feasible for a guy that has a year of 95 catches, 960, and 5 touchdowns, 86 catches, 914, and 6 touchdowns. He's 29 years old. Kyler Murray loves the tight end. Justin Jefferson's getting double teamed a lot this year. Jordan Addison draws a lot of attention. Dude, Kyler Murray can't see downfield. Easy money, dude. Check down. Better offense. No running backs to speak of. Kevin O'Connell. No competition in terms of Josh Oliver. Is he taking targets? I don't think so, bro. This is TJ Hawkinson top 5. And when he finishes tight end 8, I'm going to call this a fucking dub because he's going wider tight end 23.
Should have said top 8 if you wanted to call it.
No. I go really hot, and then when they almost hit it, I call it a win. It's a great little game I play.
Yeah, it's a fun little game. I don't think that the tight end 5 finish last year is going to get it done this year. I know we say this every year, but tight end is particularly – there's guys that are going to volume their way into the top 10 pretty easily. Guys like Isaiah Likely, guys like
TJ Hawkinson.
Like they're just on sheer numbers alone. I don't think what we saw last year is going to – like Kelsey will be in the top 10 just from a volume play. So I don't see it. I mean, it can happen. I mean, I'll be happy to eat crow if that's the case. And I'm not too man enough to admit when I'm wrong and change my mind. We drafted Tucker Kraft last year in the league that we did together. So I'm not opposed to being talked into something. In this case, though, I think I'd rather jump off a building than draft.
Dude, what if he's – okay, everyone just assumes he's done. Last year, he was actually drafted at tight end 5, which is kind of the ironic thing, which was – I had 0 shares of Hawkinson. I have never been a Hawkinson fan. The point is, he's now 2 years removed from this injury. It was a nasty knee injury, and I don't think he's done. We thought Javonte Williams was done last year, and he was a top 12 running back. So Hawkinson could be here. He's going to get the snaps. He has the highest cap hit of any tight end. Dude's going to be on the field a hell of a lot. Whether it's blocking, I think he's going to be running a lot of routes. This team's going to throw the ball. They're not going to run the ball.
Number one, Javonte Williams is 5 years younger than TJ Hawkinson. And number two, they play very different positions.
5 years younger, dude. Hawkinson's 29. Javonte Williams is like 26. Okay, there you go. 3 years. What are you, German? This is 3, dude.
3. This is 3 in sign language. American Sign Language. Yeah. All right. Let's see it. I can't wait for week 1. I really can't wait. This is what I want to see in week 1. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about Brian Thomas and Parker Washington, right? I don't care about Malik Neighbors. I don't care about anything. I don't care about Tootin and Rodriguez. I care about Hawkinson.
So do I, bro, because I'm going to have a lot of shares of him, and I'm going to bet his prop week 1. It's going to be like 29 yards. He's going to get that in the first half. Let's go to your next one. This ties into my Hawkinson thing, because you think Trey McBride bust. So Hawkinson finishes ahead of Trey McBride. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, of course not. I think Tyler Warren, that's not too odd, but also Sam Laporta are both going to finish higher than Trey McBride this year.
And Hawkinson.
Sure, fine. Hawkinson too. But so the problem is the offense there. And let's just talk about the quarterbacks without anything else. So Jacoby Brissett had the first season since Brady and Herbert in 2022 in which a quarterback attempted more than 40 passes per game and had his highest TD percentage of his career. While Brissett is the starter and he did sign that contract restructure, it's more than likely that he comes closer to his career averages near 33 attempts just under 33 attempps per game, right? And realistically, we should see a dip in TD percentage and pass attempts, and that's going to make Brissett a bad quarterback option for Trey McBride's fantasy value. Then at some point, we're going to see Carson Beck this year, a third-round quarterback who's got a disaster of an offensive line in front of him. And in 17 seasons where I went and looked, when 17 seasons where a rookie quarterback started the majority of games, and only 3 tight ends in that situation posted a top 12 season. Rookie quarterbacks are bad for pass catchers, period. None were close to paying off their ADP. The ways it can go wrong for McBride, they start with the quarterback, but they also include target competition, Michael Wilson and Marvin Harrison, and coaching tendencies. This coach slows this game down. It's a lot of different paths to a letdown season. I can go all in on Sam Laporta and Tyler Warren. I don't want to drone on and on. I think both of those guys have paths to greater target share and touchdown upside. I think there's top 3 upside for both of these guys, while I don't think it exists for Trey McBride this year.
Where are you comfortable drafting McBride this year in full PPR? I'm guessing you're not drafting him because you're not going to get him, but where would you be comfortable? He's right now going, pick where he was going last year, right? First 3 picks of the third round. So pick 27, call it. ADP 27, 28.
Early third round. I thought he was going in the second round this year.
No, he fell back. So where would you say? Is it end of the third round you take him with?
Yeah, end of the third round. If he manages to slip there at all, could happen in more competitive leagues, then I'm okay snatching him up there. But early third round, there's some really good wide receivers. That group of wide receivers right there, I really, really like. It'd be tough to pull the trigger there.
He's going to go at the 2-3 turn because I feel like that's the line where the running backs get gross. You have Jeremiah Love, you get George Pickens. Like, it gets gross, right? Where there's a lot of question marks, where Trey McBride is not a question mark. I understand your sentiment about liking Laporta, liking, Warren, but like Trey McBride is pretty damn safe. Like, the dude doesn't get hurt. He's going to have a giant role in this offense. We talked about Walter Nolan getting hurt. This defense is going to be trash. I am pretty much I'm much higher on Brock Bowers where he goes. I will take him as ADP all day over Trey McBride. I'm going to have some McBride this year because if it comes down to like Pickens or McBride, I feel like they're going to have the same year and like give me the tight ends. And I love Trey McBride. So let's move on to my next guy here, which is old man Mark Andrews. I got some dinosaurs here. Top 6 tight ends for Mark Andrews. And it's touchdowns, man. It's Isaiah Likely being gone. As much as I love Surratt, the prospect, he's a pro-ready dude. Bateman's getting a year older. Like, do you know who's behind Mark Andrews on this depth chart?
Oh, I did know. What, the rookie or who would be the second up?
Yeah, so Josh Cuevas is the rookie. Matt Hibner and Durham Smythe. That is the tight end room behind Mark Andrews, dude.
And Hibner. Where did he
that's
go?
Gross.
Did he go to SMU? Where did Matthew Hibner go?
I don't fucking know who Matt Hibner is. Like,
hang on, I'm gonna look that up because I can't remember.
Insane. That is the most inconsequential Google of your life, man.
Yeah, but I want to know.
Anyways, there's nothing behind him. No likely. In 2024, he had 11 touchdowns. Was you right?
SMU.
Flex on him, baby. So he already had that pulled up. It was all miming. He was miming. Sorry, miming that.
Fair, he only spent 2 years at SMU. He spent his first 2 years at Michigan. But.
All right, stop interrupting me. 2024, Mark Andrews had 69 targets. 69, nice number, but 11 touchdowns. And whenever Lamar Jackson has this MVP caliber year where he just stays healthy and goes nuclear, Mark Andrews is the big reason why. It's not like he's the beneficiary, I'll say that. And 10 touchdowns seems really feasible for Mark Andrews. And he's kind of lost his PPR appeal the last couple of years. And, the knee injury definitely hampered him. Last year was rough, dude. He had his career average is 12.3 yards per target. Sorry, yards per catch. Last year was 8.8. 8.8. Like every other year is 11, 12, 13, 8.8. That is rough. So that was yards per route run. Sorry, I didn't read my handwriting. But that's a 4-yard dip, man. So I think that Mark Andrews has some juice left in him. Remember the tush push play, the fake that he whirled around and had a 40-yard touchdown against the Browns?
Yeah.
He was the fastest tight end ball carrier for the whole year last year. So Mark Andrews can still move a little bit. You got a little bit of the tush push upside. The lowest he's scored in terms of touchdowns is 5 touchdowns, and it happens twice. It happened last year. But, like, his floor is 5 touchdowns, and this is a hot take segment. This is an absolute ceiling segment. I think 12 touchdowns is very feasible, and that definitely puts him in the top 6. I actually think he can increase to like 60, 70 receptions. Not quite the Mark Andrews we saw back in 23 and 22, but he's the second option in this passing game, and they're not throwing the ball to Derrick Henry. So Lamar Jackson's throwing the ball somewhere. He's probably going to run less. It's got to go somewhere. Mark Andrews can still play. I think he's going tight end 13, so it's not exactly the hottest take. He's doubling, but it's still hot enough. It's not as hot as the Hawkinson take. Still kind of hot. What do you think about it?
Yeah. I see a path for it. It's touchdowns. You mentioned this offense should scream back into relevancy. I really like the fact that Harbaugh is gone and Lamar's going to be healthy. He's been a touchdown guy his entire career. If he scores, what do you think it takes for him to get top 6? 10 touchdowns?
9 to 10.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, they're going to score.
I mean, it's probable. It's probable if Lamar stays healthy and isn't cooked,
Yeah, I'd say. So, yeah.
And definitely in half PPR. Like half PPR, I'm smashing Andrews. Full PPR, I understand. You're going to have a lot of inconsistency. If he doesn't catch a touchdown, you're most likely leaving that week disappointed. But you're drafting him outside the top 12. So, like, that's kind of what you get when you're streaming tight ends, right? It's essentially touchdown or bust unless you're starting TJ Hawkinson. And then you're going to get 6 for 70 games, which is totally cool. Let's move on.
Okay.
Deshaun Stribling. Top 2 rookie. This is Storey's take. Is this reaction to the Ricky Pearsall news? Is this you liking Stribling? Is this a reflection of Jordan Tyson and Carnell Tate?
So it's not a direct reflection of the potential of Pearsall missing the season. I wrote this up earlier in the week. So I did write a whole big thing about the PCL injury and how concerned they are, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to skip all that because we talked about it to death. But the bottom line is Stribling is screaming up the not draft boards, but like he is turning heads in camp, and he could be getting starters reps sooner than we think. Like he was a riser, early second round pick, first pick of the second round, right? And we know he's got a rare combination of size and speed, and we know that he's a downfield blocker that Shanahan loves. Listen to this quote from Brock Purdy. The dude has proven to all of us that he's reliable and we can trust him. I got to trust a lot. I've got a lot of trust in him right now. Dude is a baller, and I mean that. It's hard to say that for a rookie right off the jump, but just seeing him run routes, going up against defenders in OTAs and in camp yesterday, he was a great route runner. He's smart. He learned the playbook really quickly, Brock, which is awesome. I think the path is wide open in San Francisco for Stribling. Despite the names ahead of him, it's a retirement home. It's a geriatric who's who of guys who are great producers, but how can we realistically expect Mike Evans to put a full season in with the hamstring injuries at 33 years old? Juwan Jennings was Shanahan's most reliable chain mover, and he's gone. Shanahan loves having a guy like this on the field. He's got the profile, the physical profile to inherit that vital role. If he capitalizes, if he really takes this to the next level, Shanahan knows how to scheme for these types of guys. He's going to scheme him open, and he's going to dominate targets. So forget Tyson, forget Lemon. I'm not going to get off the Tate thing, but I think that he could turn into a real steal at his draft value.
Shanahan loves receivers that can block as well, and that's one of the strengths of his game. And dude's a physical freak. I mean, if the reports are good, the Ricky Pearsall stuff, Debo, how many games does he play? Christian Kirk is already hurt. There's a lot of pathways to this. And being tied to Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy is a very nice situation to be in. All right, we're on to my first receiver, Christian Watson, top 10 receiver. He is currently going wide receiver 29. So it's not my hottest take, but I think a lot of people are just scared off by the injury history. They're scared off by, LaFleur's history of rotating wide receivers. Well, here's the nice thing. There's not a lot of receivers to rotate anymore. Unless you're getting Bo Melton into the mix. Christian Watson should be near an every snap player. What would you project Watson's snap share to be this year?
78%.
That's pretty good. We'll take that. I think that's enough. The Niners hate is becoming insane, guys. Did we just hate on the Niners?
I thought it was. I'm hating. I'm not hating on the Niners. I'm hating on that electric substation. Let's just say that. I like Shanahan.
Whatever it is.
I guess he's got to get back on the field too.
Thank you, Dakota. Yeah, we hate it. I guess the intro is probably the Ricky Pearsall glass intro. I think that was probably what did it. You know what, dude? I make fun of myself. I make fun of everyone around here. So I thought it was just I love doing the intros like that, and it makes a lot of sense. And unfortunately, it sucks about the gunshot thing, but he has been pretty glassy. Anyways, Christian Watson, top 10 receiver. We talked about this I'm going to kind of skip through this one a little bit because we had talked about it. But Christian Watson, the most targets he's ever received in a season is 66. He has played. This is his 5th year. 66 is the most targets he's ever had. He has multiple years of 7 touchdowns, multiple years of over 680 receiving yards on that limited targets. He's been hurt. He went to that, whatever Marshawn Lloyd went to, that they have this specialist they go to, this sports medicine holistic dude that figures out what's wrong with these guys. And they figured out he had two separate length hamstrings or some shit. That was what he had. And he was healthy last year, but he came back off the injury. He had that scare in the Denver game where he hit his head, collarbone, whatever it was, came back, played the next game. If Christian Watson stays healthy, I don't even think this is a hot take because this defense is going to take a step back. Christian Watson averages 17 yards per route in his career. He had a year with 2 rushing touchdowns. They love to use the little end around with him at the red zone. Josh Jacobs is getting older. Some questions there. They haven't brought a running back in. Matthew Golden, who I love in best ball, it kind of blows. And Jaden Reed doesn't see the field in 2 wide receiver sets. So Tucker Kraft coming off an ACL. Guy's got 22 touchdowns in 45 career NFL games. That is elite stuff. And he hasn't even, I think he's scratched surface. 27 years old. He could be a true alpha. If there ever was one in Green Bay, love the dude's talent. Catches touchdowns, big plays. The actually only real X receiver on this team. I think they're going to move these guys around the formation as well. Watson will play. LaFleur is not a dummy, right? He's not going to just leave him out there like they've left Terry McLaurin out there, left X receiver every single snap. No, dude, Christian Watson, I think this is actually, he could go higher than top 10. And in PPR, maybe not, because I don't think he's going to have 90 receptions. But I see like a George Pickens level season.
What do you think his reception upside is? Not target upside, reception upside. Because he's
75.
He's a downfield guy, so he's going to get his catchable target rate is going to be much lower, right? So he's going to get 110 targets and 70-ish receptions, 75 receptions.
So I'll put it like this: if Christian Watson gets 90 targets this year, he will beat his ADP at wide receiver 29. So 100 will be smashy for that pick. 110, now you're looking at potential top 15 guy. And then if he gets 120 targets, that's not that giant of a number for some of these dudes. He's going to have 80 catches. And his 80 catches, look at his yards per route, man. It's insane. He's going to have 1,200 yards on that. And he scores touchdowns. Yes, his efficiency will go down, but I think they're going to use him creatively. You saw at the end of the year last year, they started to give him the ball, get the ball in his hands a little quicker because he is good. He's good in the quick, a little hitch, give him just a little in, something. Give him a dig route. Can we give him a dig route? That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I want him to.
That'd be nice, right? And we know he's going to play in 2 wide receiver sets. He looked like they held him out the appropriate amount of time. When he came back, he did not miss a step. Like it took him a game or two to really get up to speed, and then bam, like he was there. That's exciting.
Thoughts on Emmanuel Wilson? So let's take a break from the hot take segment to answer Ryan's. Thank you for the $2 donation, man. You know, the reports of Price getting first team reps, the reports that Charbonnet might be back week 1, which probably not going to happen, but it's not going to be week 10. You know, I've been saying this for a while now.
Right,
where are you going? Oh,
he's
not going to. Yep, he's got to take a pee. He's not going to be back later than week 5, I feel like, for Charbonnet. And Wilson could be the odd man out. I love Emmanuel Wilson. I'm not a big Price fan. I like taking your shots in best ball on him now, like later than what it had been, maybe round 16, round 17. But this is a messy backfield, man. This is a very messy backfield. It's a solid situation to be in if you can get reps. But do you like Emmanuel Wilson, Ryan? Like, if I'm a Price owner, I feel like Wilson will be a thorn in his side. I don't know if he's going to have a lot of standalone value, but definitely he's going to be there. Hopefully Watson can get more than 700 yards this year. Well, if he gets the targets and stays healthy, he definitely will. And I don't want to spoil anything, but this is another reason why you guys got to join the community. I just posted my 5 NFL futures bets, and I went 4-1 last year. I'm 13-7 since I started the show. So I'm way better at the individual player props week by week in the NFL. 13-7 is still pretty good. And for instance, the one loss I had last year was Tucker Kraft over 625, and he would have definitely smashed that. But another reason to join, you're going to get all the bets as well as the future bets. But he does have to stay healthy. Ryan says Jaden Reed will be wide receiver 1. I love Jaden Reed until he plays in 2 wide receiver sets a little bit. He's always going to be a 65% snap player. That is not the wide receiver 1, right? He's going to be really efficient when he's on the field. And actually, since Storey is gone, I'm going to play a clip of what Storey thinks of Jaden Reed, at least what he thought coming out of college.
So I like him in terms of, can he possibly carve out a little niche role in the NFL at some point down the road? Sure.
Can he carve out a little niche role sometime down the road in the NFL? Those are like 4 different things.
What I heard is you're not going to draft him. That's what I heard.
Even at 199, he's off my board.
Yeah.
Like, would I fuck her if I was drunk and she paid me? Like, I debate it. Okay, that's not a fucking good girl. Yeah. You got to pay you?
Yep,
You're drunk?
Shouldn't be.
And you might?
Shouldn't be doing that. But there's not a lot of good-looking girls in the pool in Green Bay either.
Dubs is okay. Watson is solid.
Nice.
That was your original take on Jaden Reed coming out. We were all wrong on Jaden Reed as the player. He's developed into a great gadget player, and I think he deserves a shot to be the number 2. But something about the Packers and the floor and their body archetypes, they care a lot about this kind of thing. And Jaden Reed just doesn't fit. It's not just Jaden Reed. We've seen this in the past. He doesn't fit the mold they want. And he should be their number 2, though, right? He should be their number 2.
Should be. It's so frustrating to roster Jaden Reed, though. Like, remember that game? What was it, Thanksgiving, when he caught 0 passes? Like 1 target, 0 pass. Like, that should not happen for a slot receiver, right? Like,
and a guy that has an extremely low ADOT historically. It's like those are layup targets.
It's just
and that's
weird.
where you want to get the ball to Jaden Reed, because he is a mini Deebo Samuel. I want to say it, right? He is a mini Deebo Samuel.
They have trimmed the pass catching room, so there is that. But man, I mean, that trio there, and then you add in Savion Williams. Like, there's target competition realistically, and if Kraft comes back fully healthy, which is an if, but if he does, I mean, it'll be 10 months or whatever.
Ryan likes Wilson. I think Price is going to be very involved in special teams. And you know what? Stay tuned. We have a hot take kind of involving this situation that's going to factor into the Price take. But in round 17, 18, I do like it because who knows? Like, Charbonnet comes back and has a setback. If he's rushing back a little bit, who knows? And if Charbonnet's not in this backfield, like, Emmanuel Wilson will be the 1B for sure. I think the 1A, because he is a sturdy player that has no tread on those tires, man.
Yeah,
I'm not a Price guy. Not a Price guy.
It's not a pass catcher. though, realistically. And while we didn't,
neither is Price.
We didn't see it from Price, but we didn't really have a need to see it from Price.
So yeah, he's gonna just come into the NFL and catch, just like Travion Henderson was gonna come in the NFL and be a great pass blocker.
They said that Jonathan Taylor wasn't a pass catcher either, and that guy's awesome with the ball. And
it's not an awesome pass catcher. He's a serviceable pass catcher. Come on.
Awesome.
Let's get to your next one. Next one here. We'll get to the comments here in a second. What's up, Connor? We got Connor in here. We have Jay in here. Shout out to Dakota. He said the moth. Dakota loves the moth in that clip. It goes by Nico's face, and Nico's just like, eh. All right, your next one. Chick Okonkwo finishes ahead of Tucker Kraft, and Okonkwo goes tight ends 16, and Tucker Kraft's tight end 6. Pretty hot. Pretty goddamn spicy, man. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Commanders, especially Jaden Daniels, love targeting the tight end. We saw it with Zach Ertz last year. Okonkwo we love the athleticism. He's in a prime spot to really get a ton of targets in this passing attack. It's Terry McLaurin and Antonio Williams.
McCaffrey, Antonio Williams, yeah. Treylon Burks. Treylon Burks is there.
I almost put Antonio Williams as the second best rookie wide receiver, but a few things changed my mind. It doesn't matter. Anyway, he's like Chick Okonkwo's young. He's athletic, plenty of upside and potential. And they line up 11 personnel more than 50% of the time in Washington. So we got a new offensive coordinator there. Expectation that Jaden Daniels develops as a passer. I wouldn't be surprised if he finishes as a top 8 tight end. And then on the flip side, we have to be worried a little bit about Tucker Kraft's injury. It will be a full 10 months when he comes back to the field. He's not fully back yet, so looking good, but we need to watch that into the season to see how he is getting back to full strength. That said, Kraft's really big season last year came with both Christian Watson and basically Jaden Reed absent. And that helped his target share a ton, I think. You got a healthy wide receiver core now, even without Doubs and Wick. That's going to knock Kraft down from a target share perspective. He ranked 7th among tight ends through week 8 and he left week 9 early. We got to leave room for regression too. Like his high level efficiency in 2025, I feel is really unsustainable. He ran really hot on TDs in the first half of the season last year. 7 full games. He had 41 total targets. That's it. And that equates to a 17-game pace of 99 targets. I feel like he's being priced at 80 for 1,010. I think it's going to look more like 65 for 850 and 6. They'd love to run the ball there in Green Bay. We just don't have enough evidence, a long-term enough to say that the efficiency we saw last year is sustainable because we didn't see it years prior. I think a lot of potential issues with Kraft. And if he were going at the bottom of tight end ranks in drafts, then sure. But he's being steamed up heavy. Where's he at? Tight end 5, tight end 6?
Tight end 6, yeah. And also the reports today that he is off the pup. So he is ready to go now. The concern is it's nice that there's less target competition, but Tucker Kraft is not really – he's a guy that just lives on efficiency like you mentioned. And it's nice that he's back healthy, but if he is, 1 year, not even 1 year removed from the ACL, if he is 80% of himself, he is a guy that lives on his athleticism and being a monster. If he's a little, like I said, 10 to 20% worse as a player, that's going to cut into his efficiency, and he's going to earn even less targets. And I'm a big Tucker Kraft guy. I have not been taking him in best ball. This is the answer to your question there, misconstrued. I love that name. It's like misconstrued, that name. That is a guy that I like in redraft more than best ball because there's some questions there in best ball, and I typically don't build my teams like that, where I either want to get an elite guy and then I don't take a tight end until like round 17 and I have a 2 tight end build. The middle range there of those dudes, Harold Fannin, it goes a little later, but like that middle range, because then I'm like, if I take Kraft and then I wait and get my guy Hawkinson, I'm debating taking a 3rd tight end. I like 3 tight end builds because they can be used in the flex. I either want a great guy or I want to pair 3 bums, right? I want to get K-Dot and Gunnar Helm and Hawkinson. Then I'm fine with that room. But taking a guy like Kraft with the injury concerns and some of the other stuff. So that's the answer to that question. I will take some Kraft in redraft because if he is back healthy, losing Doubs, losing Wicks, Kraft should return value just based on touchdown upside and his ability. And they love him. He's going to play a lot of snaps. Like this dude's on the field every snap because he's an elite blocker. He is George Kittle, right? That's what I said last year. And he is George Kittle.
Yeah.
Coming off the injury is a concern. But and you love Chick Okonkwo. I've always liked Chick Okonkwo. If Stephon Diggs comes into this situation, if Diggs is signed, which we all expect, we've been talking about this for weeks now. It's not Brandon Ayuk, guys. He gone. is this going to affect your love of Chickaconquo a little bit? Because right now it's just like he's a second pass catcher. He's besides Rashad White, possibly he's a second option, and Dubs would immediately slide into that second option.
Yeah, I don't Dubs. You mean Diggs?
Diggs. Yeah, did I say Dubs? I meant Diggs.
Yeah. I agree. His target share would take a hit. No argument there. But I still think he operates underneath more so than Diggs. And like I said, they love the tight end. They love throwing to the tight end, especially in the red zone in this offense. So while I don't like Quinn as a coach, I'm interested to see what David Blau can do with this team. It should be. I'm hoping that Jane Daniels takes the next level. And so I'm still excited about Chickaconquo, especially as a late round dart throw.
All right, guys, we're going to get to everyone's comment here. We have 3 more names to get to. We'll power through. We'll get to all the comments. So stand pat for me. I got one for you you're going to love. Connor, just a $10 banger. Most hammered I've been in years. You know what? That's awesome. We love Connor. Most notably gave us $100 on our 5-year reunion show, our anniversary show. And most hammered I've been in years. We love you, Connor. And hopefully you're at home safe, just watching this program, having a great time. We're drafting after this. I don't know if you want to draft that hammered, but we're definitely doing some underdog drafts after this in a new stream. So in about 45 minutes, we will fire up a new stream after this show is over. And looking forward to that. We love you, Connor. Thank you, buddy. You ready for mine?
Yeah, hit me.
So Stan, just hold up on the comments. You can keep on putting the comments in. Also, vote on the poll. We have a poll. Who has the biggest upside between 4 running backs? Jutkins, Hendy, 2 other names, Bucky and Tootin. Those are the 4. Vote on that, and we'll talk about that at the end of the show. Here we go. Rashid Shaheed, top 30 wide receiver. He is currently going wide receiver 56. So I don't know how spicy this is. I think it's pretty spicy. Not just a wide receiver 3, a top 30. So a wide receiver 2, between 2 and 3. I love this. I love this player. I love the situation. So they paid Rashid Shaheed. Essentially, they chose to let Kenneth Walker walk, and they paid Shaheed that money. So Rashid Shaheed, 3-year, $51 million contract, $34 million guaranteed. We got Kenneth Walker signed a 3-year, $43 million contract. They could have had Kenneth Walker for cheaper. Couldn't have paid them both. You know, they knew about the Charbonnet injury when this happened, and they still chose Shaheed. And a lot of people are like, well, he's the return guy. He's still going to return a little bit. Jadarian Price is also an elite kick returner. I think Price is their new kick returner. Shaheed's still going to be on punt returns.
Whoa.
Still going to be on punt returns. What? You don't like that?
You think they're going to use the 30th overall, 32nd overall pick to have him return kicks? That's interesting.
He was elite last year as a kick returner in college.
I don't disagree, but
this is not Jeremiah Love returning kicks, the 3rd overall pick. This is a late 1st round pick. Yes, they will. Do you also think they paid Shaheed to return kicks and punts and play part-time on offense?
Maybe. We'll see.
I don't think so. But why would they choose Shaheed to play special teams, pay that money over Kenneth Walker, the Super Bowl MVP? They need a running back. Like, you know what I'm saying? And besides that, let's talk about Shaheed for a little bit. We love Shaheed. Never been a target earner, but been in some weird situations, had some injury stuff. I am projecting a more pass-heavy offense. This defense took a step back. Cooper Kupp, dust. Torrey Horton coming off injury. I do love Torrey Horton. I think they're both going to rotate in. I think Shaheed's the number 2. There's not really a second option there. A.J. Barner's fine. Elijah Arroyo has some juice. But if Torrey Horton and Shaheed have some crossover. But I project 100 targets, man. I think he can hit 100 targets this year in this offense with a more pass-heavy script. And you mentioned JSN's going to get all the attention. Like, you know, it took a while for the league to adjust, and they couldn't adjust last year in general because Kubiak was lining him up all over the field. And they couldn't track where he was. They're going to try to use that same idea and scheme, but they don't have Kubiak there anymore. So it'll be more static. I'm not saying it'll be static for JSN. It'll still be used in the slot a lot and in motion, all these things. But, like, it won't be like it was last year. He's going to have single coverage, man. And Sam Darnold is confidence right now. He's going to be chucking the ball to Shaheed. I think they're going to dial some short stuff up for Shaheed because he could take a 2-yard screen to the fucking house, end arounds. Like, this is going to be an inconsistent player. He's going to have some 3-point weeks, but Shaheed's going to have some 30-point bangers this year. And it's going to be a rough ride. It's going to be similar to Jameson Williams. Think of a poor man JMO experience. I love Rashid Shaheed. Definitely love this in best ball. But if he gets 100 targets, I think the Duke could have 1,000 yards with those all-purpose yards, not return yards, but all-purpose.
It's doable.
Rushing and receiving.
It's doable, but like you said, it's going to be a rough ride in redraft leagues. And if you are relying on Shaheed, because it's a poor man's Jameson Williams, and Jameson Williams ended up starting him on a weekly basis is frustrating to begin with. So it is like the end of the year. He could certainly get there, especially because that I think they're going to have to throw more in Seattle. Like that defense,
and they will, yeah,
be slightly worse this year as well.
It's one of these things where you're drafting a wide receiver 55. He's beyond a bench receiver. He is literally your wide receiver 5, wide receiver 6, and I think he could eventually slide into your wide receiver 3 spot, but definitely a flex play in terms of a three receiver in one flex in a PPR league, what your wide receiver 4, and then bye weeks, injuries. And you know what? Let's just say, God forbid, something happens to JSN. Like, he's their number 1 receiver. These are the kind of guys who want on our bench in fantasy. And yeah, he's not going to be a top 10 receiver. He's not that archetype. He's not a target earner. But I want shares of this team. And I do think this defense is taking not a major step back, but like they're not like, I know the Texans defense is not taking a step back. This defense is too good. Last year, Seahawks had like the perfect storm, an easier schedule, all those like defensive touchdowns. They lost some pieces, regression city, and Sam Darnold is whipping his dong out this year because it doesn't matter, right? He proved everyone wrong in Minnesota.
Won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But like even Minnesota, right? They were doubting him, and he had some stress and some pressure last year because look at how the year ended with Minnesota. Now it's like he is the most free man in America right now, and that is confidence. He's always been an aggressive passer. Love the pairing, love the contract, love the player. Shaheed top 30. Your last name here, your last one. This is not spicy at all. You ended with
I got you. I called a trick play on the goal line, and I'm having my tight end throw it. That is not my spicy last one. It is actually Josh Downs finishes higher than Luther Burden.
We got a prop.
I know. I should have. My wife made it. I should have had to make it backwards because I forgot that we're on camera. But yes.
No, it's perfect. I read it. It's perfect. You're good. You're good.
Look at it go. Where's that cat? I'm not dying to meet it or anything.
Can we wake her up?
It's a miracle you haven't already. Barging in here with these whores, like the beginning of some crude stag film. Just 10 feet away from where your cat sleeps.
Okay.
Oh, hey, we heard all about Denise and we just wanted to meet her.
Oh, did ya?
Yeah.
Didn't hear about Denise. Do you have any cats? No, I didn't think so. Because if you did, you wouldn't be dressed like sluts and following home strange men to pound mangria.
Dude, Jillian Bell is hilarious.
I love it. All right, look at this. On the fly, I got a graphic for you guys.
Wow,
Downs better than Burden. I'm the fucking GOAT. This is wild. Full PPR, I'm guessing. Either way, you don't care about that. Downs better than Burden. I don't have I think Downs goes wide receiver 43, and Burden is, hold on, I have that. Burden is 23, so 20 spots difference. Josh Downs, better than Luther Burden. Big Ray his head would explode right now. He'd be so pissed at you.
Spicy enough for you right there?
That's spicy, bro. You fucking threw me for a loop. I love it. Thank you. Nice fucking job, man.
Yeah, I mean, so we know what's going on with Alec Pierce. Pittman's gone, right? Alec Pierce is still tooling around in a boot, probably. And he's not really, but there's a lot of buzz surrounding the other wide receivers for the Colts, especially. I mean, there's not a lot of buzz, especially given the uncertainty related to Alec Pierce. So this is a good thing for fantasy managers, though. The Colts have talked up Josh Downs, making him a bigger part of the offense this year. Shane Steichen said he, quote, wants to give him ample opportunities to play on the outside, so not just a slot guy, and exploit mismatches against opposing defenses. There is a world where Josh Downs leads the Colts in receptions in 2026. I still think that Tyler Warren probably has the edge, but Josh Downs could realistically do it this year. And then on the flip side, there's a lot of steam about Luther Burden, but a lot of his rookie production, like Kraft, came from elite efficiency. And historically, that tends to regress when players receive larger workloads. So he was eased into a workload last year. He's going to have a larger workload this year. The efficiency cannot maintain as it was. His role should grow in year 2, but I don't think that he can realistically be as efficient as he was. So in 3 breakout games last year, he averaged 17 fantasy points per game, despite averaging only 9 expected fantasy points per game last year. That's a huge over performance. Explosive efficiency can happen over those small sample sizes. We've seen it, but it's a lot harder to sustain over the course of the season. The market seems to think that those spike weeks are his new baseline. I don't think that's the case. Also, Roma Dunze will be back healthy this year. He could still become Caleb Williams' number 1 target. Loveland could immediately emerge as a focal point for this offense, for this passing game. Burden's got to get back to establishing himself as more than the number 2 option here. He's got to make sure that he's not even the number. He's got to make sure that he's not the number 3 option in this passing game. Over the last 15 years, receivers who have had similar draft capital will average roughly 7 fantasy points per game as rookies have gone on to finish wide receiver 22 or better in year 2, and only 7% of the time. The numbers are not in his favor this year. The Bears have a tougher schedule, first place schedule, stronger secondaries, better pass defenses. There's a lot of headwinds with Luther Burden and a lot of tailwinds with Josh Downs.
Well done. The reveal, it was like, you blew my mind because I was looking at your hot takes and I was like, that was pretty spicy. And I get to the last one. I'm like, they're going like a round apart. And then I love it. I'm so happy. And you're the GOAT. Great breakdown. This dude knows ball. God, you're going to make this channel awesome because I'm not going to do it. I psyched you on that. I'm the GOAT too. All right, Josh Downs. This is for real. I'm a big Alec Pierce guy. But Josh Downs' issue has always been snap share. It's similar to Jaden Reed, the very nice correlation between him and Jaden Reed not seeing the field. Josh Downs losing Pittman. Pittman was always the problem for Josh Downs. So, like, Josh Downs should be seeing, I think conservatively, we'll say 73% of the snaps this year. But what if he plays 84? Because his advanced metrics have always been amazing. Yards per route run. Like, this dude is just always open. Matt Harmon loves him. I love him. You can't guard him. He can go downfield better than you think. I don't think playing on the outside is great for him, but just use him in some different roles. I want him on the field. If he's on the field, he's going to smash his ADP if he just had his normal role this year because he's going pretty late. And the Alec Pierce injury question, like, dude, in PPR, I love waiting at wide receiver. I am fine with him as my wide receiver 3. If I'm going to go with McBride in the second round, Bowers in the second round, and let's say that Jaden Daniels falls to like round 6, and I take him, you're going to be struggling at flex, or wide receiver 3. If you go with some running backs there in the 4th and 5th, give me Josh Downs. He's a nice floor play, but you're talking about the upside here. You think there's a lot of upside in Josh Downs.
I do think there's a lot of upside because what if Alec Pierce has a setback, or what if the injury is worse than we think? This could be like a monumentally bad deal for the Colts, first of all, but also what's his target competition? Yes, Tyler Warren. I agree. Tyler Warren, huge target competition. Outside of that, Nick Westbrook and Keeney, Ashton Doolin, Laquan Treadwell, Deion Burks, Anthony Gould. Like, I've never heard of some of these guys. I mean, the other guy, I've never heard of Anthony Gould.
You've heard of him. Most people haven't.
Yeah. Either way, like, there is ample opportunity, especially if Shane Steichen gets smart and starts moving him around the formation.
Let's also mention that the Colts defense is pretty bad. And I don't think it got a lot better. Like, they didn't have any draft capital this year, and Sauce Gardner's coming off a major injury. I'm not a big fan of Sauce Gardner in the first place. Not a good defense. A lot of shootouts. Well, hopefully shootouts if Daniel Jones is healthy. But and also the reports of Daniel Jones are pretty positive. So yeah. I like this one a lot, man. Let's get to my last one. I'm gonna get to all the comments here. Hold pat.
Yeah, real quick. My honorable mention is Joe Burrow wins the MVP, and the Bengals finally win a Super Bowl.
Jesus. Okay. That's a good one. The Burrow MVP is super nice. All right. Tet McMillan, top 5 wide receivers. That's spicy enough for you, buddy?
Where's he being drafted, man? That is pretty spicy.
Wide receiver 20.
There's
wide
a lot of people down on Tet McMillan this year. That's pretty spicy.
Well, here's the case, man. I've been drafting a lot of Tet McMillan and a lot of Jalen Coker in best ball, and a lot of people weren't because they're like, well, Chris Brazzell was drafted there and Xavier Legette, as much as I liked him coming out, I still have some hope for him now that Chris Brazzell's out for the year. Yeah. But that's not good. That's not good. A third receiver target competition. Tommy Tremble and Jadavian Sanders, terrible tight ends. And, as much as we think Jonathan Brooks is a good pass catcher, we haven't seen it in the NFL. Chuba Hubbard's very average as a pass catcher. There's not a lot there. This is a very narrow situation in terms of where the targets are going to go. Bryce Young, they had 515 pass attempts last year. The Panthers did. They had an easy schedule. Their defense was decent, and they were really run heavy. The Rico Dowdle stretch really depressed that number because they gave Rico like 90 touches in a 3-week stretch. Rico Dowdle doesn't play there anymore, and they're not going to give Jonathan Brooks 25 touches a game. Chuba Hubbard's just average, so it's like they're going to have to throw the ball. Their schedule is really tough, and their defense did get better, but tough schedule. 515 pass attempts last year. The league average is 555. So if you just give them a league average passing attempts this year, which should happen based on this schedule playing from behind, that's going to give Tet more opportunity, right? Last year, 122 targets as a rookie, And that was with a couple games with like 3 targets. And, you know, that was a 22% target share. He's going to grow. He's built a rapport with our little quarterback there, Bryce Young, who is emerging a little bit. But 122 targets last year. I expect a 25% target share this year, especially with the Brazel injury, with no tight end. If we give Ted a 25% target share, which I think he's going to earn, and we up the passing attempts to 550, which is just league average. We don't need them to be the Cardinals from last year. You're looking at roughly 135 targets. I think it's 138 was the math. So let's call it 140. This isn't even crazy. This isn't like, oh my God, he's going to average 10 targets a game. If he gets 140 targets and he just improves a little bit from his rookie year, and Bryce Young improves as well, 85 catches, 1,200 yards, and 9 touchdowns is pretty reasonable with that little uptick on each of those things. That is probably wide receiver 8, I want to say. And that is really feasible. I'm saying for the hot take, top 5 receiver. This might be 10 touchdowns. This is the George Pickens. This is my actual George Pickens of this year. Going a little earlier, Pickens was wide receiver 25 last year, a little earlier. But I know you were higher on Ted as a prospect than I was. I didn't like his motor. He showed me a lot last year. He had some concentration drops, but not like Marvin Harrison drops. They were just concentration drops. Contested catch stuff. Dude's great in the red zone. He was really pro ready last year, and it showed. The second half, he had one clunker, and then also in the playoffs, Jalen Coker had that awesome game. But outside of that, he was really consistent. Didn't have a touchdown until like week 6. Ended up catching 7 touchdowns. This dude could have 10 touchdowns. This dude could have 90 catches. This dude could have 1,300 yards. Love the player. I'm pretty high on the Panthers this year as an offense because I think their defense is improved, but their schedule is tough. They're going to have to throw the ball. I am going to draft Ted McMillan. If I don't get Ted McMillan, I'm also going to draft Jalen Coker because these two dudes is their entire offense. And Bryce Young can, he showed out last year a little bit. I know the numbers aren't great, but we still believe in Bryce Young as a serviceable quarterback. That's all he needs to be.
Yeah, I get why this is spicy because I love Ted McMillan. I love the prospect. I hate the landing spot. He is fighting an uphill battle here. I think he might have maxed out at his target opportunity already. Like Dave Canales, they finished in the bottom half of the league in pass attempts last year, and he has a very, what would you call it? Like a very conservative ball control approach, probably to mask Bryce Young and his deficiencies. So you realistically, you're fighting a systemic battle there in Dave Canales and the way that they want to run this offense, as well as, don't forget, like Bryce Young flashes, but 29th in points per game in 24 and 28th in points per game in 25. So marginally better, I guess. I love Ted McMillan. I think the possibility exists, but it seems unlikely. That's why I think it's pretty spicy. I think he's
we failed to mention this though. Okay. So Ted McMillan as a rookie with let's not forget Jalen Coker missed the majority of the year. And when he did come back midseason, he was not right until the end of the season. So he had all the coverage going his way as a rookie playing X receiver. I think they lined him up at X receiver like 85% of the time against the number 1 corner with a safety over the top with Bryce Young not playing good. Still put up 122 targets, 70 catches, 1,014 yards, over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. They already said they're going to put him in the slot more. And Jalen Coker is a big slot. He can go out to X. Well, let's just call it 30% from the slot for Ted McMillan. Dude, the targets will go up. The efficiency will go up. Like, that is where money is made. He did this last year as a rookie. He was still, he will admit it. I read an interview where he was like, I didn't play great last year. I like that comment because he played better than most rookies. And there's a lot of ways this can work. If Bryce Young takes a step up, if the usage is better, if he's better, maybe some better touchdown luck. Maybe top 5 is super spicy. I don't think it's that crazy. I think top 10 is definitely very feasible for Ted McMillan, and he's going wide receiver 20. So love the player. I think he's a great floor play as well. It's safety, it's upside. He's not an injury risk. Like he's never been hurt. No soft tissue stuff in the past. I love Ted McMillan this year. I also love Jalen Coker too.
This is where, I think he's got a pretty narrow range of outcomes. He's not going to bust. Certainly not going to bust based on the talent. This is where we hope the talent overcomes the situation because it's the situation for me that I'm worried about. That's why I think it's pretty spicy. I think it's going to be hard for him to crack the top 12, let alone get in the top 5. But I like it. I mean, I like Ted McMillan. Not as huge a fan as Jalen Coker as you are or as most people, but yeah, there's not enough volume there to maintain 2 relevant pass catchers in fantasy.
There is when there's no third option. like when there's no tight end of note, like you're not splitting with the tight end. Xavier Leggette's the third option. There is enough, and especially where their ADPs are. Coker goes so late, dude. And Ted McMillan is not. He's not getting drafted. You know, it's the end of the third, early fourth. In my mind, I would take Ted McMillan in the mid to early third round. I'd feel good about it in a PPR. I really would.
Yeah. Where's he going right now?
End of the third, early fourth.
That's reasonable. That's why I said, that whole group of wide receivers, end of the second through mid fourth. Like, there's so many good options right there.
All right. Jay says, who are the top 5 running backs in PPR? Let's just go through this. So I have Gibbs,
Jahmyr Gibbs, and Jahmyr Gibbs. Dylon, and Dylon.
Gibbs, Bijan, CMC. And then after those 3, now we have a decision to make. It's Jonathan Taylor, it's Ashton Genty, it's James Cook, it's Saquon Barkley. Did I leave anyone out?
Chase Brown? No, probably not.
I mean, I don't think he's there. So those are the guys that go in the first round. Derrick Henry is not in PPR top 5 running back.
I think you have to put Jonathan Taylor in there, and then I would say probably Cook. There's speculation that he could catch more passes this year. So in a PPR, probably better.
Barkley as well, right? And then
Barkley.
People love Genty. People love Hampton. I'm not putting Hampton there. I think A-Chain could be in the discussion, but the offense is just piss poor.
Yeah. I'm starting to cool on the whole A-Chain thing just based on the offense.
That whole tier after Genty and Cook, and if you want to put Barkley in there, like that whole tier, Kenneth Walker and Demarion Hampton and Derrick Henry and A-Chain, it's very, very flat. Like it's just, I don't really see the difference between these guys. So I want to be drafting at like the 16 in the second round. I want to have the 16th, 17th pick and just take whoever falls to me, opposed to have to take Kenneth Walker at 13, where like I do have him ranked there, but I think I can get Kenneth Walker in a majority of my drafts at 16. It all depends on the room. And like, I'm fine with any of these guys because I can give you an argument for all these guys for being better than what they're ranked. And I can give you arguments for all these guys why they shouldn't be ranked that high. Besides Saquon, I think Saquon Barkley, we're both aligned that he should be higher than all the guys because we've seen him do it, right? And not just do it, like be effective, all-time talents, all-time season, just 1.5 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, are we going to look back at the end of this year and be like, why were we not drafting Kenneth Walker? Like in a great situation, quarterback coming off an ACL injury, an offensive mind in Andy Reid, who has had, when he's had a number 1 running back, he has utilized that running back in the passing game, right? Like maybe we'll look back and think, gosh, Kenneth Walker was the value of this year.
If he stays healthy, especially. Brian, what's up, Brian? Hot take, Fannin finishes top 2 tight end, number 1, if not for Bowers. I don't think it's possible in Cleveland. That's the problem. Like, how many touchdowns is Harold Fannin going to score?
Yeah, that's
how many? 7?
Probably. Yeah, this offense. Oh man, they went back and forth again. Shedeur, like they're talking about Shedeur Sanders now after Deshaun Watson. Like Deshaun Watson's arm is cooked, right? But they're probably going to start the season with Watson, and then when he flames out, they go to Sanders, and et cetera, et cetera. It's a messy situation there.
Kenneth says, my hot take, Tyler Warren, tight end 1. Let me think of something else. Again, I think tight end 2 is a fair take. If they both stay healthy, Tyler Warren and Brock Bowers, there is pretty much a 1% chance he outscores Brock Bowers. Is it higher? You love Tyler Warren, so I want to hear your take.
Okay. Yes, there's every possibility. You're talking like offensive schemes. We saw Brock Bowers. He was hindered by that knee injury last year, but that offense with Kirk Cousins and a rookie Fernando Mendoza, that could be a troubling situation. Whereas we saw how effective that offense was under Shane Steichen and Daniel Jones last year. So I think it's more like a 10% possibility. I think that's a reasonable.
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe 1% was a little wild. That's a hot take for me. It kind of sets Tyler Shuckle finishes a top 10 quarterback. Is that spicy? That is pretty spicy. He's going quarterback 19. So
yeah, that's pretty spicy.
But the rushing upside is real. We talked about the stat of him having 45 design runs in, 10 games. So 4.5 design runs per game. And nothing's changed there, in terms of why they wouldn't deploy him as a running quarterback. Now you just have Jordan Tyson added into the mix, who is a top 10 talent. So definitely got and Kellen Moore running the more plays than anyone in the history of the world, if he can help it. There you go.
Yeah. He is a good late round value. But to be careful with this offense as we get near redraft season, because the Saints, I think, are going to be like the the sleeper darlings this year.
If Bijan stays in Atlanta, Tua will be a top 10 spice. Bijan's staying in Atlanta. We're not worried about that. Not at least this year. And you know what? He loves dumping off to his running back. And, A-Chain is awesome. Bijan is just as good, if not better, in terms of catching passes.
Yeah, but with that offense, that offensive line, I think it's going to be like one running back can't – well, look what happened with Penix last year before the injury. He was not even anywhere close to a top 10, top 12, top 15 fantasy quarterback.
Right. And the problem is, like, Penix actually had he had 2 rushing touchdowns last year, I believe, and a little bit of rushing upside. Tua has 0. It's literally 0. It might be negative. So you're getting, it's all got to be through his arm. This is Jared Goff level, what you're offering. And the nice thing about Jared Goff is every once in a while, Dan Campbell calls up a trick play and Jared Goff catches a touchdown. Like, there's no way Tua's running and catching a touchdown. They would never do that. His lawyers would sue the Falcons. You know what I mean? Like, so it has to be all with his arm. Like, that is super spicy. Like, that for sure spicy.
Yeah.
I think that top 16 is in the realm of possibilities if this offense really gets in track, playing in a dome, pretty, decent defense, but not like the best defense in the world. And I think Kevin Stefanski he's definitely really good year 1 wherever he goes.
Yeah, that's true. Flames up pretty quickly, though.
Silent, what about Torrey Horton? He still looks good. I love Torrey Horton. I draft him a lot in best ball. I like both Shaheed and Torrey Horton, but coming off a pretty major injury, he'll be ready for week 1 by all reports, but I'm not too – I think they could both eat, right? They're going to rotate those guys. They're going to play a lot of 3 wide receiver sets this year. They're both going to be on the field. Cooper Kupp is more of not a gadget player, but a specialty player, a guy that's on 3rd and 7, red zone.
He's dust, man. Like that
very dust.
He's dust. So yeah, Torrey Horton, he kind of had a mini breakout at the end of last year. He looked good in the playoffs. There's a world that exists where he's the number 2 wide receiver over Rashid Shaheed.
Dakota, Josh Downs finishes higher than Antonio Brown 2.0. So if you don't know the joke in the show, Big Ray on record had a 20-minute argument with us saying that Luther Burden reminds him of Antonio Brown, not that he's going to be Antonio Brown. And I just said Jerry Jeudy. I said he reminds me of Jerry Jeudy, which isn't a bad thing. Jerry Jeudy was a 1st-round pick.
Yeah. I mean, Burden was a 2nd-round pick, but yeah. Okay.
Laquan Treadwell still in the league? Yes.
Believe it or not, he is on the Dolphins roster as of today.
Was he like the 7th? Did the Vikings take him like 17th overall? It was pretty high, wasn't it?
Let's find out.
Look that up. If I am writing this number, I'm going to show my nipples. I think it was 17th overall. It was pretty goddamn high, man. Let's see what this is.
Laquan, Treadwell.
He's probably still pretty young, like 28, right?
He was drafted 1st round, 23rd overall pick.
Pretty early, man. How old is he?
31.
Ooh, he's still in the league. That's wild. He stayed in the league this long.
He's from Illinois. How about that? Good God. Listen to the teams he's played for. Vikings for his rookie contract. Falcons, Jaguars, Patriots, Cardinals, Seahawks, Ravens, Colts.
And he's not done a damn thing for any of those teams.
Yeah. Sorry, I said Dolphins roster. Colts roster. He's still.
You know what? Speed, man. He's got the speed. He's got the draft capital. Those guys will get more chances than, a 4th-round pick. So, and a guy like Jermaine Burton's already out of the league. So just don't. Obviously he's a great citizen, right? He's a great teammate. Must be a locker room guy. He's fast and he's a locker room guy. Sean says, seems like every other year, people who hold out, tear their ACL or mess up their hammy. You've been on this for years about holdouts, hold-ins, avoid. This is not the Bijan and Gibbs situation is not like that yet. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think they just want a day off. I think that was my play last night. That's what I said.
I don't have any direct evidence to support my hypothesis, but I believe this is directly tied to the last collective bargaining agreement where they restricted the number of hours that they can practice prior to the season, in season, etc. And these guys that used to have intense conditioning leading up to the start of the season would be able to spend time getting their body in shape. And now, even the guys that show up late, they're getting far less time to get their body ready. And this is the most physically demanding sport on the planet outside of extreme rock climbing or whatever. And if you're not up to speed, like the game speed is way different. We talk about this, guys in pads versus guys doing the 40. So again, I don't have any hard numbers to back this up, but I think that at some point, players are going to have to start wising up. Teams are going to have to start wising up, right? You have a guy who's going to hold out. Well, I can't blame the player. Like, go out and get your money. But if teams are like, God, we're paying. We're like, we saw what happened with Terry McLaurin. We saw what happened. Like, at some point, teams are going to have to start wising up. Like right now, okay, the situation right now. I was listening to Fantasy Footballers the other day, and they brought it up. Like the Bijan Gibbs thing, they're both holding in, right? And the problem is, like, whoever gets paid first, like that other team, you just screwed yourself because now you got to go higher. Because if Gibbs gets paid first, then Bijan's going to be like, hey, Arthur Blank, you got all that Home Depot money, right? How about you give me some of that orange, and vice versa? If Bijan gets paid first, Gibbs is going to be like, hey, Motor City, I should be the highest paid. So these teams that are super stubborn, like just pony up and do it, and then you don't have all this drama related to it. It's so stupid.
You know what really grinds my gears? This Lindsay Lohan. Eh? Lindsay Lohan with all those little outfits, jumping around there on stage, half naked with your little outfits. You know? You're up there jumping around, and I'm just sitting here with my beer. So, you know, what am I supposed to do? What do you want? You know, are we going to go out? Is that what you're trying to... Why are you leaping around there, throwing those things all up over there in my face? Huh? What do you want, Lindsay? Tell me what you want!
Nice.
Vegeta, Bowers round 2, ? Low scoring offense. Don't know who will be starting all season. I'm not confident round 2. It's too spicy. Trey McBride, he at least has a rapport with Brissett. So let's break this down. Round 2, I mean, he had a way worse situation as a rookie. This team is much improved on the offensive line. Kubiak made JSN last year.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins made Kyle Pitts not just a thing. He made Kyle Pitts have a 50-point game, guys. Kyle fucking stinky Pitts. So Kirk Cousins is great for Brock Bowers, and Mendoza is the first overall pick. Yes, no rapport, but rookies lean on A, their number one pass catcher, and B, the tight end position. Well, Brock Bowers happens to be both those things. Elite talent. What did Kubiak call him? A fucking football robot from heaven or some shit?
Yeah,
like
something weird.
It's just, dude, Brock Bowers is a stud. You could say maybe he won't, he's safe as hell. He got hurt last year, was fluky, played through it. I like the fact he played through it. Like, it shows that he has some of that St. Brown in him where he should have shut it down. There's no reason he should have played last year. Also a failure by this organization. But this team is trending in the right direction. Brock Bowers volume. Like, what do you think? Give me the range of outcomes. Like, if he doesn't get hurt, don't talk about the quarterback situation, who's playing, any of those things. Give me the low end of his targets and high end. The lowest you can see it going and high end of targets. 17-game season.
120 to 160.
I think 130 to 170. I think he can average 10 targets a game, dude. So let's just meet in the middle and call it 150, dude.
Yeah.
Brock Bowers, if he gets 150 targets, I don't care if you're throwing him the ball. Brock Bowers is having 100 receptions. And 100 receptions, like, who are you going to draft over him? Like Nico Collins. If you take Nico Collins over him, didn't we see this with Nico last year? He needs touchdowns and big plays. And this defense is really good there. Like, you want Nico Collins realistically over Brock Bowers. I think Brock Bowers outscores Nico Collins in PPR, and he plays tight end. So,
it's extreme. I know it doesn't seem like it because based on last year, but it's an extremely safe pick to draft Brock Bowers. He's one of those difference-making tight ends. We think Trey McBride is there. I think there's a lot of red flags to his profile, but Brissett does like targeting the tight end, so you got that going for you. Loveland could make the jump. Warren could potentially make the jump. I think he's got more in his way than Colson Loveland does, but I mean, there's no question marks. I don't think there's any question marks about Brock Bowers, realistically.
So Brian says Josh Allen over Bowers, and I understand that. Josh Allen never gets hurt, but here's the counter to that. Would I rather play the late tight end game or the late quarterback game? My answer is the late quarterback game because I can get Jared Goff and Matt Stafford after the top 12 tight ends. You know who I have to take a tight end if I wait to do that same game at tight ends? I have to take Dalton Kincaid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to take Jared Goff. I want to take, I know what they're going to do. I want that in my lineup. I'm not an early tight end guy. And if Brock Bowers is going at the 1-2 turn, I'm out. That's kind of where he was going last year. He was going like pick 15, pick 14. I saw him go at the 1-2 turn a bunch. He's going at pick 16, pick 17, pick 18, pick 19. Like, yeah, dude, when you get to that point, when you get to pick 19, for instance, it's Nico Collins, it's George Pickens, it's Rashee Rice. And I understand the Rashee Rice conversation, but do you want to spend a second round pick on a guy that could get suspended and be out of the league, that has a knee issue, like a chronic knee issue, that was just in jail? that plays with a quarterback that has coming off an ACL. There's just a lot of issues with Rashee Rice. Like, give me the safety of Brock Bowers, and I'll just even if he busts a little bit, right? He doesn't have the return on investment that you want. Like, you're not losing because of that draft pick. And there's a chance that Rashee Rice, Nico Collins, George Pickens, Jeremiah Love could lose you your league. And I just don't think Brock Bowers is going to lose your league. And I think there's a chance he wins your league for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a super concentrated target share. That's also why I like Ash Agenti quite a bit this year. I understand if you don't want to spend a second-round pick on a tight end. I get it. If he drops to the third, I think he's an easy smash in every format. Second, you got to start making some tough choices, right? There is an opportunity cost, especially as it relates to a onesie position. But he's being drafted in an appropriate range, I think.
100%. And like, you can also, if you wait, you could take Tyler Warren in the 4th round, and we love Tyler Warren. It's just like 4th round is still a lot of good players around him. Give me a guy I know is going to have 100 catches. Give me a guy I know is going to have 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns, like minimum. Ryan says Tet is a flex at most. I'll say this. Tet McMillan last year was wide receiver 19. That's where he finished. And that was with all the things we talked about with last year being bad. Essentially, is he going to be worse as a second-year player? Is Bryce Young going to be worse? I don't think he could be, for sure.
I
don't think Tet McMillan will be worse, though.
It's tough, though. Like, he finished 28th. Bryce Young finished 28th in points per game last year. Like, there's not a whole lot of places to go but up. He could be the same. But even with the 28th in points per game, Tet was, what'd you say, wide receiver 19, 20, something like that? Like,
nice call from Sean. This is a nice point. I always say this. In best ball, I don't like doing this, but Michael Mayer is a top 8 tight end in PPR, if you ask me. If Bowers is hurt, we saw this last year in the couple game sample because Mayer was also coming off an injury. The fact that you could just take, and they have a week 13 bye, it sucks to then you have to make a decision week 13 to have a roster a 3rd tight end, or you just drop Mayer at that point. You have insulation there. It's like handcuffing a running back, but we know that Michael Mayer is not going to be Brock Bowers if Mayer gets hurt or if Bowers gets hurt. But you're getting a top 10 tight end, right, in Michael Mayer. If he is a starter and there's no, like, he was, look at the games he had last year, 7 catches, 8 catches, 5 catches.
I'm trying to look it up right now. I want to see.
It was nice, dude. It was really nice.
Because I don't really remember.
I remember I bet on him over 31 yards and he had like 78. And then he had another game with like 5 or 6 catches. It was only a 3-game sample at the end of the year.
I mean, okay, so he had in early or mid-October, he had 5. So this is when he was coming off the injury, 5 for 50 and 1. And then he didn't crack 50 yards. Well, he didn't crack 40 yards.
Bowers was playing. He had to go when they shut down Bowers, the last 4 weeks, roughly.
Well, okay, so if you look at the last 4 weeks, the 4th to last week of the season, he went 0 for 0 for 0. So I'm assuming he didn't play. The week after, he went 1 for 10. And then the week after that, though, he went 9 for 89. And the week after that, he went 3 for 47. No touchdowns during that span. He only had 1 touchdown in the year. So
okay, so he had 1 giant game. That's the game I bet on him, by the way. With 9 for 89. I loved it.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I love Michael Mayer, and that is a nice little feather in your cap, though, to have the guy we know. I think he'd be the option. It's not a Luke Musgrave situation when Kraft went down. Michael Mayer is a first-round talent, and there's no wide receivers there, man. There's no wide receivers. Let's move off Brock Bowers, though, and get to some other comments. JD wanted the Vikings to sign Coker. I love Coker. I love Tet. I like both these guys. And you know what I don't like? Xavier Legette or Davion Sanders or Tommy Tremble. Those guys suck. Like, yeah, I sound like the counselor saying they suck. They actually do suck. Those guys actually do suck.
They do suck.
Sean says Hampton top 5. You know, a lot of people are super about Hampton. I am not one of them. I will take some shares of him at ADP in PPR. I think Hampton's main value is in a PPR league. 50 receptions, roughly, I think is what he was on track for last year if he played the whole season. And I want some shares of this Chargers offense. But I am taking – are you taking Barkley or Hampton in full PPR?
Barkley.
There you go. And they're going in the same range. What about A-Chain? That's a tough one in full PPR. I would probably go Hampton over A-Chain, I think. Weird sound, man.
I am cooling on A-Chain a little bit, but I think I'd still go A-Chain.
I'm going to go Hampton there. I'm fine with both of them. Like I said, I think all those running backs outside of Barkley, and I do love Kenneth Walker, but they're all in the same exact bucket, right? Like, it's just they're going to have similar years, similar workloads. the offense and the offensive line there in particular in LA is the nice like feather in their cap for Hampton, because that was bad last year, dude. Alton Slater gone. This offensive line was bottom 5. They might be top 5 this year. My concern is the workload. I projected a 64% snap share for Hampton, which is still good enough, right? If this offense goes boom, but McDaniel has a history of using a committee, right? And the committee is what scares me. I have no worries about committee with Saquon, no worries of committee with Kenneth Walker, no worries of committee with A-Chain, no worries of committee with Derrick Henry. Like, so that's the issue. I like opportunity, and the thing, it won't matter though. If this offense is top 5, 63% is more than enough for him to be a top 5 running back. But there's just a lot of connecting the dots there. JD wouldn't touch Pacheco at all. We like Pacheco, right? He is a handcuff. They haven't brought anyone else in.
I think I had him as 4th most important. I'd have to look it up. But they have not brought anybody else in. I mean, that's the underlying. Where did I have him? 4th. I had him 4th. I think you had him 1st, maybe? No. Tank Bigsby, you had 1st.
No, I had Pacheco 1. Pacheco was my number 1 handcuff this year, just because it's Dan Campbell, man. Like, he's going to use his guys, and I didn't like, if they bring someone else in, then it would change. Vegeta says Baker Mayfield will have another 2024 season, having a contract year and healthy year. If he stays healthy, he will. It was one of your hot takes, right? Was Baker finished ahead of Mahomes? 19 is going quarterback 18, quarterback 19. Mahomes is going quarterback 11.
Yeah. I mean, it's doable.
Agree on the offensive. Fannon's advanced metrics crazy. Look into his pure route running efficiency. Yeah, and they line him up all over the field, Brian. Ryan Pacheco burned me last year. He burned everybody. They didn't use him. He was still hurt. This is he's betting on himself. Like, obviously he has to, because he has no guaranteed money besides what the minimum. And he's got it's 2 years. The fibula injury, he came back too early. That was well documented in 2024 for that playoff push. That really set him back. This could be a 2-year injury. If not, Pacheco's just cooked. That's the worry. But what is it? It's ADP 150. Like, he's a handcuff. There's no one else there that scares me, I guess. Is my take. Yeah, who else is there? There's nobody. It's bums.
Sure.
Who's the guy? Simone Vaki?
Yeah, which we looked into.
Errors, Rashee Rice in the 7th or Tucker Kraft in the 11th? Rashee Rice in the 7th, man.
That's good.
Tucker Kraft is a 6th round, 7th round pick. Rashee Rice is a 2nd round pick. Give me the for sure guy. And it's risky on both these guys in a way. But
his rehab is done now, so good news.
Brian says, talk me out of drafting Waddle all the time. I want to put him as high as you put Tet. You want Ted over Waddle, right?
What is your opinion on Jalen Waddle? Because I have been hearing a lot of buzz about him in the Twitter sphere, in the fantasy football space. I understand he had 2 amazing seasons. One he did with volume, one he did with efficiency. But he has been slightly underwhelming based on expectations in the other 2 seasons. So I'm not quite sure what to think of Waddle.
I don't have a really strong take on Waddle either way, because, they paid a pretty penny to get him, but Cortland Sutton's there, and he's going to be the 2. They don't have a tight end of note, Evan Ingram.
Right.
They like throwing the running backs a lot. It's a good match with Bo Nix, because Bo Nix is a aggressive passer, and Jalen Waddle is best used downfield. It seems, I don't want to say risky. It's just that the Broncos defense is so good, and they're going to air the ball out when they can. Last year was weird. They had to come from behind a lot, right? And that was where Bo Nix passing volume came from. I don't think that's going to happen again this year. I think this team is going to kind of roll, and maybe that's because of Jalen Waddle. I like him a lot. I think I'm pretty much at consensus. I will have some shares of Jalen Waddle, but when I'm talking about Jalen Waddle versus, Garrett Wilson, like I'm taking Garrett Wilson over Jalen Waddle, right? Are you?
I am. Yeah, I'm taking Garrett Wilson over Jalen Waddle. I don't know. I don't want to miss out on this potential Waddle explosion, but I do have concerns. I'm not as bullish as most people are here. Cortland Sutton is not a bad wide receiver, but there's not a lot of target competition. I don't know. Maybe they'll just sign Taysom Hill and let him.
Here's the problem with Waddle is touchdowns. Cortland Sutton catches 8 touchdowns every goddamn year. Bo Nix is prone to having 4 to 5 rushing touchdowns. And Jalen Waddle's not a red zone guy, never been a red zone guy. So he scores his touchdowns on deep plays. how many is he going to have? Like, what is the range of outcomes? Like, I could see him having a great year, staying healthy, and scoring 4 or 5 touchdowns. I could also see him having like 8 or 9. But like, do you see a world where Waddle has 10 plus touchdowns? I know that's not where his value usually comes from.
Yeah,
I just don't see it. I don't see it. Where like these other guys, like maybe Garrett Wilson is a stretch for those numbers, but I know the targets will be there. I think Ted McMillan has 10 touchdown upside. I think Christian Watson has 10 touchdown upside. I don't see it with Waddle. So you need to do it on efficiency, yardage, and PPR scam stuff, which I don't know how they're going to use them. So I am pretty much at consensus on Waddle. I'll have some shares, but I'm not like going to be super thrilled of having a bunch of Waddle. It's going to be kind of just like, he was there. I don't hate it. Wide receiver 2 on my team. Some upside for sure. Love the weekly upside because, you know, he could take a top off a defense. He could take a 8-yard slant to the house with the best of them. Just, you might have some disappointing weeks, some boomer bust stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely a man. Like, people have been everyone loves Waddle. Everyone's loved Waddle since he came in the league, right? Like, people have
Blue tent merchant too. Blue tent merchant.
Yeah, but he always seems to come back, right? He never spends a whole lot of time on the sidelines. I'm just man, I don't want to have take lock on previous Waddle takes, but it's a different situation, new offensive scheme. It's an upgrade, certainly, so that's working in his favor. But and Sean Payton went out and got him. They paid him. It's a risk, though, I would say. Where's he being drafted? We say the 5th round? No, 3rd round.
No, it's like end of the 4th. He's right in that range, like Luther Burden range. Terry McLaurin, like we want Terry McLaurin all day over Jalen Waddle, right? Now Luther Burden, I think I would want Waddle over Burden.
The volume there is going to be pretty nice, I think, for Terry McLaurin.
All right, so we have Michael says Bowers is a smash. You know what? Let's get to that comment in a second. Fantasy Dog, what's going on, man? How you doing? Number 18, like, hey, Rob and Mike. How you doing, buddy? Happy Friday. It's Friday night, right?
It is Friday night. Yeah, it feels like Thursday.
Yeah, it's Friday. All right. Michael's on the Bowers side. And you know what I'm taking from this? It's a lot of stuff of like people have different strategies. A lot of people don't like taking early tight end. Some people don't like what Bowers did last year with the injury. So as you know, I play 40 redraft leagues. I'm going to play 40 this year. I'm insane. What that allows me to do is not reach on my players and just get them at ADP. I think you're going to have leagues where Brock Bowers and PPR, my standard fan tracks, like full PPR, 12 team, 3 receivers in a flex league. I think there's going to be leagues where he gets taken at like pick 14. But I also could see him getting taken at pick 20. So it's like, I'm just going to let him fall to me. I'm not going to reach. I would take him at pick 14, 15. I really would. But I'm not going to need to because it depends on the league. And there's going to be a lot of people that look at the chat. Some people are like, I wouldn't take him in the first 2 rounds. Other people are like, I'll take him in the first round. So I don't know the players I'm playing with in these leagues. I know a couple guys each year. I know how they draft, but it's not like a home league where you kind of know people's tendencies. So we'll just let Bowers fall to you if you like him. Don't reach on him. If you play enough leagues, if you don't, you probably have to reach for Bowers because someone will scoop him up.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's if you want him, you don't be afraid to spend up to get him because there will be leagues where he goes in the early second round.
Connor, 40-minute drive or $120 Uber.
Always Uber.
Said you've been drinking. Uber, my dude, please. Kenneth, last year's squad was Lamar and Shuck, Pickens, Rashid, Tet, Devontae Adams, Terry, JT, McBride. Somehow it came in second. Well, Terry McLaurin definitely fucked your team there. It wasn't his fault, though. Wasn't his fault.
Lamar, man. I mean, I hope you were riding Shuck at the end of the year, but it's tough when you've got a top 3 drafted quarterback and he comes back and then like Shuck's performing. And we see it all the time. Like, do I start the guy or name value? Like it's incredibly difficult.
We got Mark in here. What's going on? Big Mark. Happy Friday night to you, man. Bowers will be the first option in the red zone all day unless they're first and second on the 4-yard line. Yeah, it's Genty and Bowers pretty much it. Like Trey Tucker is not that guy. Jalen Nailor's not that guy. It's those two scoring almost all the touchdowns. We'll see how many touchdowns there are to go around. Let's see. Saquon Barkley, Kenneth Walker, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown. Give me them in round 2. Yeah, I love all those guys in round 2 as well. A.J. Brown, man, give me Bowers over A.J. Brown. I think that Bowers is going to have the same numbers, and he plays tight end. Sean, every time I draft Bowers and redraft, I make sure to take Mayer in the last round. Yeah, that was the comment I read earlier. Great comments. And shout out to Sean, one of the newest Patreon subscribers. Love you, Sean. Appreciate you, man. Bowers, week 17 against Arizona is going to smash. Arizona cannot guard tight ends. I love that. Also, we talk about Arizona's fantasy playoff schedule all the time, which is really nice. Are we in on the Raiders or Bowers? Handcuffing Bowers is crazy. Not when you have Michael Mayer, who is not. It's not a Luke Musgrave situation. Like I'm down on the pass catchers there outside of Genty and Bowers. And if Bowers goes down, like Trey Tucker is not a target earner, and like Jalen Naylor, dude, if he's your number one receiver, Jack Bash, Dante Thornton, what are we talking about? The tight end is going to be the number one, number two option in this offense, even if it's not Brock Bowers. And they love Michael Mayer. Michael Mayer is actually going to be sneaky this year in general because they're going to play a lot of 12 personnel, which actually makes me like Bowers more because, inline tight end, that means Bowers is going to move around the formation, in motion.
I mean, would you take Michael Mayer with the last round in a best ball pick and hope he gets a couple of spike weeks?
In a big tournament, yeah, because if Bowers goes down, he's not getting drafted. Like, give me the exposure. I've done that a couple times. Eagles, easiest schedule, best offensive line. They be playing the lead. Give me Barkley. Yeah, well, give me Barkley definitely over. I'm not taking Bowers over Barkley. That's insane. Sutton better than Waddle from Kenneth. Ooh, wow, and that's well, you know what? That's great value. For Sutton
talking about him.
Oh yeah, okay. At value, I think we all like Sutton over Waddle at value. My thing is, if it in a half PPR, definitely give me Sutton over Waddle. Touchdowns are more important. I kind of struggle with Sutton's volume this year, and he's never been a PPR merchant, like 90 reception player, never. Like, he could very well have 55 catches this year, but that would be 750, 800 yards and probably 7 touchdowns. That is where the value from Sutton is.
What if he just is the red zone guy? What if he gets what if he has another double-digit touchdown season?
Yeah, Waddle will open things up too, even like when they're not in the red zone. But, single coverage, like Bo Nix will chuck it up. And you saw it in the playoffs. He was just chucking up to get pass interference calls because that was awful. I hated that.
Yeah,
that grinded my gears, dude.
Just accept the fact that you're white trash, all right? Take a look at yourself. You can't do backflips. You don't know karate. You're white trash.
You're white trash too, dude. Look at those shorts are white trash.
Do not call the shorts white trash. Dennis told me about these shorts, and they're not white trash. Look at this. Look at this. Look what I can do. What is white trash about that? Don't call me white trash.
I feel like if I had that kind of mobility, I'd be capable of pretty much anything.
Junk Buster, what's going on, man? How TD dependent will Ibuka be this year? You mentioned in your hot takes that he's going to be a top 5 receiver. The first 5 weeks last year was very touchdown dependent. I think he had 5 touchdowns in 5 weeks. Is this a lot of it, or is it the combination of role, talent, kind of a PPR scam, and
lower target competition, health for Baker, health for Ibuka, the fact that they will move him in and out of the slot, out of like move him all over the formation. Good offensive coordinator there. I think there's a number of things working in his favor, and a good offense in general. Don't forget, like Bucky Irving is still there, right? They brought in Kenneth Gainwell. This is going to be a good offense.
Kate Otten. You hate Kate Otten.
I've been burned by Kate Otten way too many times.
That's on you, brother. Brian, my main blind spot is TD upside, so I always like hearing from you guys. Keeps me grounded. TD upside is not really there for Waddle. It's just the big play upside, and the fact that they brought him in and they paid a pretty penny. Like I said, that was like their only move in the offseason. Remember, like going into that, they made no changes, and then they traded a first rounder, right?
Not a move, but they went aggressively to bring back J.K. Dobbins. Don't forget that. So, like,
if you're gonna say J.K. Dobbins was like a great, like a big splashy, what the fuck?
No, but it speaks to what Sean Payton wants to do with this team, which they don't want to lean into the passing game. They want to be versatile. They want to run to set up the pass. Where in today's NFL, you want to pass to set up the run, right? You want to pass more than. So I'm worried that it's not going to be a top half passing team as well. And the volume there, I know that Waddle doesn't necessarily make his hay in the volume game, but if the volume drags down, if it's not there, it drags down everybody. And this team is underperforms from a value perspective.
Derek, shout out Derek. What's going on? Great performance 2 nights ago in the show. He says Malik Benson, talking about the talent there in the Raiders wide receiver room. Wow.
Your hands are what makes it possible. Your shoulder pads are hard and stiff. Your hands are tender and they can move and caress the ball. that's kind of gay, but hey.
Sixth round
Waddle
pick,
6th round pick. Mouth loves them. Waddle and Sutton can be the broke man's Puka and Adams. You know what?
6 touchdowns.
Makes some sense, right? Adams is scoring the touchdowns. Puka is just, I'm sorry.
Sutton
the other way
scored
around.
touchdowns. Yeah,
Sutton scoring the touchdowns, and then we have Waddle being I don't know how great he is from the slot. He's fine. Do you really want to put Waddle through that gauntlet of hits though? I don't want that.
To back up Sean, like Puka doesn't necessarily play a ton. Like he's not on the field in a ton of 2 wide receiver sets, and he's not on the field in 1 wide receiver set. So if you limit Waddle from a volume perspective to keep him healthy, I could see that as well. The problem with the analogy though is Sean Payton not anywhere close to Sean McVay. Like not
you
even
hate him, yes,
in the same universe.
I gotta come up with a clip like a Storey verse coaches clip to play, kind of like Dr. Ray, like mass murderer story, and it's just you just slaying coaches or something. I don't know. I'll figure out something. Maybe a little more tasteful than that. But all right, we caught up to the questions. Appreciate everybody. We're going to do a best ball draft after this on Underdog if you guys want to tune in. Give me 10 minutes, 10 or 12 minutes to set up the stream, go to the bathroom, get some stuff situated. Got to get Storey out of here. I'm going to make a new stream, though, guys. So if you're in the Discord, I will send the link. If not, just tune in 10 minutes. If you're going to go to bed, sweet dreams. Hopefully our boy Connor got home safe. Appreciate all the supers. We got a couple subs this video. 21 likes is pretty weak because we had like 400+ people watching this on and off. That needs to go up, guys. Like the video. Let's talk about the poll real quick. We'll see what the poll results are.
Speaking of best ball, real quick, did you see the news on Underdog?
What's that?
That they are close to, or either inked a deal or close to a deal to sell to a private equity firm.
And how does that change things?
So this private equity firm is heavily invested in prediction markets as well. So there's some speculation that nothing will change this year because the deal won't close until the end of this year, early next year, but that they could lean away from best ball and more into prediction markets. So like Kalshi and the other ones like that. So it's all speculation at this point, but yeah, you want to guess how much the deal's worth?
Oh, dude, $2 billion,
1.3 billion.
Holy shit! Wow,
a lot of scratch. It's a lot of scratch for a platform for people to play a kids game.
Yeah, and there's also the pick'em contest and shit like that. The player props. But let's get to the poll here. So highest upside. This is without injury. We had 4 players here: Judkins, Hendy, Bucky, Tootin. Judkins wins with 43% of the votes.
Wow.
We got Hendy at 14%. Hendy is the loser here because it's without injury. Bucky is 22%. Tootin's 22%. People love Judkins. This is a Browns player, but I think everyone's on board with 350 touches, and like that is gonna be awesome. That he's gonna score a lot of touchdowns.
Can he get 350 touches without passing game work?
But he's gonna be a 3-down back, they say.
That's what they said, but come on.
The poll speaks for itself, man.
It's aggressive. I personally would have voted for Bucky Irving.
I may or may not have voted 9 times for Quinshon Judkins. So it's all I'm Kevin Durant trolling my on a burner account, just trying to get my Quinshon Judkins love up on this channel.
That's So there was 20 votes, and you voted 9 times.
No, I don't know. Who would you have voted for? Order these in upside without injury and full. This is full PPR. I didn't specify the scoring. So half PPR, I understand that. Let's call it full PPR. You don't care either way because you're a psycho. Give me your rate these guys: Judkins, Hendy, Bucky, and Tootin for upside. No injury.
Yeah,
they could take over a job based on talent like Hendy and Bucky, but give me your ranking here.
Bucky, Henderson, Judkins, Tootin. That's my ranking.
Bucky number 1, even with Kenneth Gainwell there.
Yeah, we've seen it. And this coaching staff, they've leaned into a true workhorse, 3-down back. Bucky showed that he could do it 2 years ago as a rookie. He only improved last year. He got injured, had a tough time coming back, but I think he can certainly do it. Judkins, yeah, he can get there, but realistically, like if Henderson just takes the next step, he becomes better at pass pro. We know he's explosive. Like he's a home run hitting back. He could just overtake Ramondre Stevenson, who always feels like he's kind of precarious with that coaching staff. And then Tootin, I've talked about it. I don't like the profile. I've been burned by that archetype before. I just don't think with Chris Rodriguez and a better pass catcher on the roster that he's going to stumble into 360 touches.
He doesn't need that. We did this on the show the other day. He needs 260 touches 260 to be a RB1.
Okay.
That was the numbers. ETN did it, right? Simpsons did it.
Simpsons did it. I'm gonna tack up this. I'm gonna staple this Josh Downs over Luther Burden thing to the wall, and I'm gonna stare at it every single day.
Dude, put it in the background somewhere. You gotta spruce it up. Look at my background. I'm living like a frat house, man. Find a way to get it up there.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out because you're getting off anyway, so there's no point in doing this now, Story. Come on, think with the brain here. I got him. All right, Fantasy Dog says, you rock, Mike. You rock.
Thanks, Fantasy Dog.
Whenever I call you Mike, you get weirded out.
Yeah. I mean, it's always like we're kind of stuck into the roles, right? Or the names. There's one friend group where nobody is called by their first name. It's all like Woj, Wall, Storey, Zurich, Muno, all last names.
People don't really call me Rob very often. I don't know what they call me. The asshole, fat ass. Like,
What do they call you?
Me Rob.
What do they call you at the club?
I mean, it depends. Like, my last name's Simmons. People call me Simmons. They call me Scratch Golfer. They call me Cool Guy. They call me this guy looks great. This guy looks great with his shirt off. All those kind of things. Never my name, Rob. But all right. Gotta get Story out of here. Thanks for all the super chats. Hopefully Connor's getting home safe. Everyone else, great discussion. Story as always. Next week, we have a big week. So we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, guys. So next week, we're doing a segment we did. This was actually Nico's first show when we had him on. Me and Kappa did this show. You've been on this a bunch. Upside Floor, and we're going to have, I think, a day with you and Chaz on, and then a day with you and Nico to bring the gruesome threesome back together. And we pick 3 or 4 players going right next to each other, the same position. And we talk about who has the biggest upside, who has the biggest floor. We have debates. We yell at each other. It's a great segment. We'll do a running back one. We'll do a wide receiver one. If we have time, maybe we'll touch on some onesies, some quarterbacks, some tight ends. But that'll be a great show, especially with Chaz on here. I don't think you've ever done a show with Chaz, have you?
No, I don't think so. We'll close it out with who's got the biggest Johnson.
Yeah, but it doesn't work, so it doesn't matter. All right, man. Story, you're the GOAT. Love you as always. Appreciate you.
Good month.
We will talk to everyone soon, huh? Yeah. Let's go. See you, man. Thank you to everybody. We'll be back in 10 minutes for a best ball night. I'm gonna stay on here. 2 hours, 22 minutes. We're finishing out this month, guys. We're averaging. We're gonna Story real quick before you get off. We are gonna, with this best ball draft, we're gonna officially average 4 hours a night, not missing a day in July. 4 hours live every single night in July. This is still the off season. Just wait till the season comes. I'm just never gonna sleep. You're gonna have me 24/7.
4 hours a night, man. Good luck. You're gonna have to sleep at some point. January.
Yeah,
next.
I'll be all right when I die. All right. Thanks, Story. Love your life. Stay positive and respect each other. We're out.